After a decisive win by Donald Trump, the question that's on everyone's minds right now is how did astrologers get their election predictions so wrong? And leaving Americans befuddled, bewildered, and quite frankly aghast and concerned that if we can't trust the experts, and of course by that I mean astrologers, who can we trust?
Steelworker veteran and Scorpio Brad Davies weighed in to say, I've always relied on astrology for every important decision in my life. But after this, I don't even know if I'm oozing with sensual energy like they told me I was. Should I even bother avoiding conflict and prioritizing my well-being during a retrograde? Am I even passionate and brave?
Zamboni driver and Leo Davis Anderson is quoted as saying, this feels like my solar return all over again. Or wait, was that a lie too? Honestly, I don't know what to believe anymore. The only reason I tied the knot with the old woman is because of the alleged compatibility I have with Sagittariuses, despite the fact that we hate each other and I don't find her particularly attractive. But now that I find out astrology has an accuracy issue, maybe I'll just marry a Taurus.
However, not everyone felt equally betrayed, because when asked if she will still be relying on astrology for huge life choices, despite its constant failures to predict outcomes, yoga teacher and Cancer Lana Bradley is quoted as saying yes. Classic gullible Pisces.
The boys. It's the BOYSCAST. The lads. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST. The bros. It's the BOYSCAST. The homies. It's the BOYSCAST. The dudes. Experience the BOYSCAST. The BOYSCAST.
The BOYSCAST is officially back. We are off to a bad start. You might not know this happened because it happened 4 seconds ago. I went to the bathroom before we're starting. I walk in. I open the stall. Guy taking a shit. Never seen a calmer man in that scenario. Didn't even reach for the door. Didn't startle. He goes, all good, bro. I swear to God, he looks at me. He looks me in the eyes. He goes, all good, bro. I go, I just started walking out. He goes, as I'm walking out, door open. The guy goes, you don't have to leave. There's another stall open right there. I go, how is anyone
just
that?
Two dogs shitting, man.
Yeah, I wasn't even shitting. How are you that calm? If someone busted down the door, I'd be like, oh.
You're doing one of these?
I'd be blocking my tits. Well, I never. This guy, it's almost like he wanted it to happen. He went to close the thing. He goes, Nah. If they walk in, they walk in.
Hey, if they see me, they see me,
it's
man.
It's a natural thing, man.
Yeah, dude. It's just like childbirth.
I've never seen a guy more comfortable.
One of God's wonders,
So, a lot has happened since we recorded our last episode.
Oh, sure.
Democracy is officially over as of now. Yeah. Rest in peace to women
living
president
in Nazi
jokes.
Germany.
We are basically living there.
Hide your kids. Hide your family.
I had to retire all my women president jokes. I was doing them all night. The whole weekend in Chicago, I was doing the women president jokes, being like, this is a joke I would have done. Obviously, this is the last time I'll tell it. But I had like 5 or 6 of them in a row. I don't know. I told you this a little bit, but Chicago shows were all sold out. Nashville was really fun, but Larry David was there doing his thing, and then Larry David was with Jeff Garlin, and they were basically like, oh, why don't we go to a comedy club, because they're there the night before. So this came to my show, and it was like, obviously it's like, not even the biggest place, and then so all of a sudden everyone's like, Larry David's here, and he's watching there, awesome. And everyone's kind of like, what's going on? And then Garland's like, I'm gonna do a spot. He did like 20 minutes, and I was trying so fucking hard to get a video of Larry David watching JJ, but I couldn't do it because the way it was structured, Larry David was sitting at the front with like 5 people, and then
he was sitting in the audience.
He sat at a table like normally in the audience, but at the back.
Yeah.
So, but there was no way for me to get my video of him in a stealth manner, and that would have been my coup de grace. If I could get a video of Larry David watching JJ, a one-shotter, and then I could have put music to it. I'd have that forever.
Yeah, the curb music. JJ's like, so I'm sucking cum out of her asshole. And
then if I could get him walking out and leaving,
he just like pukes in a trash can.
It would have been the best thing ever to get, but I couldn't get it. But it was
missed opportunity.
It was an enormous missed opportunity. But apparently, he liked the show. I didn't see him because I went and had to do stuff after the show or whatever. And his agent came up to me and he was like, he's like, oh, Larry David kept saying this guy's funny or whatever. But then also I talked to someone else and they were saying, yeah, he's been going around saying that about everyone. So the beat on the street.
You almost wanted Larry David to be like, that guy stinks.
Yeah, that's a funnier story. Yeah. But that's all I got about that. Now, since we've last recorded a podcast, the world now, basically, I guess the world we're living in.
We're living in a fascist country.
We're living in a fascist country.
Soon to be.
RFK is sodomizing Fauci on live TV as we speak.
Fauci's gonna be in a dunk tank.
Fauci's in a dunk tank while Aiden Ross.
That's gonna be, you know how Trump wants to do like the 250th anniversary America's Fair thing that he's doing. Like Trump proposed, he goes in 2026, which will be the 250th anniversary of America. There's gonna be this like state, like basically like a giant country fair, like a state fair, but for the whole country. But then every state will be represented, and it's gonna be Fauci in the dunk tank. Everybody's gonna be able to come take a turn, just fucking dunking Fauci.
And the water's got so much fluoride in it.
No, it's gonna be sharks in the water.
Yeah. But I was thinking, he's like, well, you said fluoride's not bad for you. Then how about the most
pure fluoride? Just the chemical fluoride.
No, but yeah, I was saying that. Listen, they talked a big game. Now they're in the office, so I would say, Elon Musk, you have 10. I'll give you 10 days to dismantle the government.
Yeah.
I'd like to see at least 30% of the government dismantled within 10 days.
Hey, I mean, it looks like they're doing a lot.
This is a message to Elon Musk. I'll look right straight down the barrel, and I'm looking at you. You got 10 days. I don't want to see the Department of, shoelace regulation anymore. It's
and I want the trash collectors from The Simpsons. Remember the trash collectors of The Simpsons where they have the spiffy suits and they do everything?
That's what we want.
We want the
you have that. I would say Trump, all censorship I'd like done by, I'll give you till Tuesday.
Yeah, that's fine.
Like a wrap on that.
Yeah.
RFK, I'm going to give 5 weeks to make people not fat anymore. And by the way, I would say of all the things that are happening that people are, flipping out about, where they say, oh, they're going to get rid of government, they're going to do this. I would say the most where you're just like, good fucking luck is RFK's like, I'm going to make a dent in this fat problem. Can you imagine a scenario where RFK comes out? Because all the things they're doing, at the end of the day, what is the actual effect is to make the foods a little less tasty.
Yeah, a little less tasty, a little healthier. And I will say, though, I called this 2 years ago.
There's going to be a guy eating a fucking Whopper right now.
Yeah.
And he just goes, something's missing.
Because where's my extra mayo?
The glucose levels are down.
Yeah, it's not working.
Dude, hell's going to break loose. He's going to be busting down. You want to see a real January 6th. You're going to see a January 6th Bills.
I mean, they'll remove the dye, but the thing is that he's going to do stuff like, you're removing all these like poisonous dyes from soft drinks. You're like, well, we're not even going to see the results of this for 50 years.
So is all soft drink going to be the same color now?
No, but if you look at Fanta, like if you go to Europe and you buy Fanta, it looks like it's the color of orange juice. Whereas here, it's like that crazy orange color. And the reason is that
they soup it up.
That dye is illegal in Europe. It's like banned.
And the only purpose of the dye is to make it look a little cooler?
Just look at fucking this color, basically.
Sure.
Yeah, so they're like, okay, we're going to get rid of Diet Coke. I guess we'll see how that works.
I'm telling you, if I told him I'm going to give him 5 weeks, and then that Wednesday, I'm going to walk down the street. If I see one fat person, I'm going to take that fat person like he does with the bear, bring him over my shoulder, bring him to RFK's house. I go, what are we doing here?
Yeah, what are we doing? You got a wheelbarrow of fat people and you just go,
buddy,
explain this, man.
I thought we had a deal.
Yeah.
So we're just living in a world where RFK, he thinks he's going to take the fats down. Hey,
it's funny too because he's like, when you
start with the women.
He's like, when you go on Trump's plane or whatever, he's like, you go on Trump's plane, he's like, the only food options are KFC and McDonald's.
You must say that.
It's not good.
That is such a funny concept, though, that RFK is like there to talk about his health stuff.
Yeah.
And Trump's just like downing a fucking Whopper.
Yeah.
He's just eating a piece of chicken, and he's like, so I just think that we should make the food healthier. Trump's like, for sure. I'm definitely on the agenda.
Yeah, once we dismantle the deep state, we'll take out get rid of some of these seed oils.
Definitely on the agenda. Can we get another bucket in here? Are you sure you want some of this? It's really good stuff.
I was like, Bobby, have a piece, man. This shit slaps.
This shit slaps, Bobby. Bobby, come on, man. You can have a piece. You're going to insult me in my own plane?
Oh, it kills you.
For sure. All this health stuff, we're definitely going to get right on that. It's on the agenda probably tomorrow.
Yeah, it's coming.
Tulsi Gabbard, I'm going to give you a month to get rid of all the wars. I don't want to see a single war.
She didn't get department. They gave it to a Fox News guy, head of the Department of Defense.
I thought they can't give it to people yet. Doesn't he have to wait till
he's already, dude. It's been like watching fantasy sports or something. Like it's been watching like the NFL draft. It's just like bam, and then it's like with the next selection in the draft, Donald Trump he's been picking everybody. Already.
Yeah, I've been seeing that, but I've also been seeing that it's like it's hypothetical, like he's floating people.
Well, the thing is, they have, as far as I understand, because they have control, because they have to get confirmed in front of Congress or the Senate, but like they have control of all of them, so it's just like they're all going to get put through. So it sounds like all the picks are going to be the picks.
Interesting.
Yeah, Mike Huckabee. I don't know, he's ambassador to Israel. I don't know.
I've seen some people not liking the picks so far.
No, I mean, you're not going to please everybody, but and then he did do the fake Department of Government Efficiency, which is not a real department.
That was kind of making me laugh
too. Elon and Vivek, and it's not a real department.
So he's basically saying they got like a desk in like the shed, and he was just like,
no, they just have his phone number, and they go, "What about this?" Like, it's not a paid position. It's not a real department. Like, they're not making a new department.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, this isn't a real thing. It's just, they go, hey, there's this Department of Government Efficiency. It's just Elon Musk is just going to be like, hey, why don't you could get rid of this?
It's sort of like an advisor, I guess.
It's an advisor, yeah. It's like an unpaid advisory.
So that's not going to be that good because I only gave him a week to get rid of the entire department.
Well, he only gave him 2 years. He gives them up to the state fair thing.
He gives them up to the state
July
fair.
1st, 2026 is all they have. So he's giving Elon a tight window to afuera.
Okay, before we get into even the reaction and what's all going on that
ladies,
front,
you fucking
media.
blew it. I just like to let the ladies know.
They did blow
They
it.
blew it. I have a theory about this too.
I'm listening to a theory.
So it turns out that this, it ended up being that everybody voted on the economy, right? That's what they're saying. The main reason everybody voted is why women are like, abortion's not that, not because they're racist, but they're like, abortion's not that important. The economy is important, and inflation is a big issue, right? But what causes inflation is women be shopping.
Spending.
Right? Women be shopping.
You got my ear.
Right? Women be shopping, which causes inflation. So had women not been shopping...
So you're saying the root of this whole problem is a maximum amount of shopping by women?
Yes. If women had not been shopping so much, inflation wouldn't have been so high, and then Kamala Harris would have won. Because then they would have been like, you know what? There isn't an inflation problem.
Women be shopping be causing inflation.
Yep.
Inflation be causing Trump.
Yep. Sorry, ladies. You did this to yourself. We told you didn't need...
If they didn't need that extra bag...
You didn't need all that fast fashion.
That extra abortion.
You don't need all the fast fashion.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's my theory.
So the theory's not bad.
Yeah.
Obviously, most people there's some people that are coming to terms with that, where they go, oh yeah, a lot of people seem to vote for the economy. There is another part of it where the economy is a good thing to say. People kind of like with polls. Remember how that guy who was doing the polls? I think we talked about this, but he goes, I'm doing the neighbor method.
Yeah. That was the guy who bet the French guy who.
Well, it's a pretty good method because the truth is, if you ask someone about themselves, one thing we've learned from doing comedy, right? One of the biggest things you have to come to terms with early, not everyone, some people's like a jolly fat guy, you're going to be accurate. But one thing you're going to come to terms with, the thing that make people like you is not the ones you think.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, it's like, I'll give you a perfect example. Like some dude that he's like, all my friends were like this, and this is how I make all my friends laugh. You actually realize that a lot of the things that your close friends find appealing, normal people find annoying. Right?
Yeah.
So, for example, in politics, a lot of people want to see themselves a certain way, so they choose their identity. They go, I'm a type of person that does this.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person who... I'm undecided. I don't know. But if you actually ask someone who works with that guy, they're like, he's going to do this.
Yeah,
and they're more right. So they go ask the person around them who they're going to vote for, and they'll probably be more accurate than what people say about themselves. Because it's kind of like when you go, you see a guy and, his gross ex-girlfriend's at the bar, and you're going to go home with her, and he goes, honestly, who knows what's going to happen?
We've been arguing a lot.
You go, probably not. I mean, I'm probably not. And you go, and if you asked his friends, you go, 100%.
100%. Yeah.
That's
just
a
watch.
guarantee.
Just wait.
You know what I mean?
And see.
So by asking people around them, they actually, a lot of times, are a better predictor. I was kind of thinking, if you take polls, and in pollsters in general, which were, generally pretty off on a lot of things, you almost, if they were a hedge fund, they would never beat the S&P 500, right?
Yeah, never.
Right.
Never, yeah.
And
I think there was like one pollster who was like kind of nailed it and everybody else didn't.
But then if you kind of extrapolate that to one of the reasons is because they're asking people and everyone lies, right?
Yes.
So my point to you with the economy stuff is like, you go, why did you vote for Trump? And you're a girl. You have to, that's of course you're going to be like, I'm the type of person who does it because of this. Kind of the same way that girls will start sleeping with a guy or dating a guy, and then you ask them why, and then they'll go, he's really, they make up.
They make up a thing.
They make their decision based on instincts, and then they backdate what the reason is. So
That's
a lot of
true.
people do that, where
And
they go,
probably people can't just be like, oh, I just like Trump. You know, like that was never an option. That was an exit polls. There was never just like, you know what, the guy cracks me up.
Yeah.
Like that was never one of the options. Or like, why are you voting for Trump? You know, the guy just is good for a laugh.
Yeah. But yes, on paper, a lot of people say that. And I'm sure, you know, when you're talking about this many people, there's all different options. But I think there's a lot of people that it's not lying per se.
Yeah.
It's, you know, the same way that
Lying to yourself, I guess.
You're kind of lying to yourself.
And with the Trump thing, people are like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable like admitting it. I don't know, you know, Thanksgiving's coming up and I don't need to be on record being like I voted for Trump.
And if I write it down in a poll, now it's real.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I was
my
thinking,
dirty little secret anymore.
dirty little secret you tell me. Who was that? All American Rejects?
Yeah, I think so.
One of those.
One of them.
I was thinking it'd be funny because I saw a lot of, you know, some people on the news are saying, you know, we need to make changes, but there are some people that are just going with I guess it's more racist than we thought.
Yeah.
And I was kind of thinking it'd be a funny sketch to do a game show where they're like, all right, why did you vote for Trump? And then they go, racist, racist, racist. They go, ooh, he says it's the economy. So, okay, next guy. And why did she vote for Trump? And then they go, why did black guys vote for Trump? They're sexist. They're sexist. They're sexist. And they go, it turns out they just didn't like her. You know. Whatever, you get the idea.
Oh, misogyny.
Misogyny. No, it wasn't that. He says he wasn't that. But in the question that obviously everyone's asking is who's at fault for this, you know? And there's a lot of blame going around. There's a lot
shopping.
There's women be shopping.
That's my theory.
The theory is I like that theory.
Yeah.
However, what you're not realizing is a lot of people are throwing the blame at podcasters. And some people say blame, some people say the opposite of blame.
I mean, some people are blaming mainstream media as well. Actually, it's going kind of there's a camp there.
You were telling me that
it is not good. Dude, they just released the ratings.
This is their last little hurrah they had there,
Dude,
right?
but it's like getting exponential. Like it's like a snowball picking up steam right now. MSNBC and CNN's ratings have dropped 50% in the last week. Like there's something where they're saying like at any given point there's like 50,000 people watching CNN at any given point of the day,
and
like,
half those people the TV's on.
That's what, or it's like, you know, the airport deal where CNN has the deal with
It's
the
on
airports.
in every gym.
And every airport, they have like a deal where like they have every airport just like play CNN. They go, look at all these people watching CNN.
What is the deal? What do they pay for that?
Yeah, CNN pays the airports to be like.
So you're losing money on those views.
Oh, big time.
Paid.
Yeah. That's not
paid, not earned.
Yeah. That's not
a lot of conversation.
But
about paid, not earned.
MSNBC's for sale now. They're saying that they're going to sell MSNBC. Like MSNBC gets for some of their shows like 200,000 people or something for their prime time shows right now.
And again, it's not 200,000 people.
Well, that's what the Nielsen ratings are saying, but like the key demographic, which is 18 to 54, 18 to 49, is like sometimes it'll be like 60,000 people. Like you're talking like, you have 150,000 75-year-olds, which they don't buy anything, so it's like that's not even a valuable demographic.
It is for if you're selling them.
CNN's
it is if you're selling them old pills.
Yeah. CNN is cleaning house though right now too. They're apparently going to be firing everybody.
Okay, so if you're at CNN right now, take a look. Just pop up on Instagram. Cruise on over to Don Lemon's page.
Yeah,
and then watch him. You're gonna be looking at videos. So this is your future. That's why I'm telling you to do this. You take a video. And then know what you should do? Look in the mirror while you're watching a video and practice the faces you're going to make. Like, what? Because that's your future.
Yeah.
You're going to be reacting. You're going to take a video of Donald Trump saying something and then practice your faces you're going to be making because you are now a Instagram reactor.
Yeah.
Some might call them the nuclear reactors.
Yeah, it's not good.
That's what you're going to be doing, making funny faces to Donald Trump's outlandish comments.
That's good. And you won't be doing it on an X because Don Lemon just quit X today.
Imagine considering yourself a proper. You won't be doing an X. Can you consider yourself a proper journalist where you're like, I went to journalism school. I'm a journalist. That's my thing. And this is where you find yourself looking at a video of a guy and then raising your eyebrow. You go. That's you right now. That's journalism.
That is essentially journalism, yeah. So anyway, it's not looking good.
Bit of a funeral for the media, potentially.
Well, like it's just crazy how much happened in 1 week. And MSNBC had gangbuster ratings on election night, but then it turned out it was just kind of because everybody was watching.
Well, I mean, you're not, come on, you're gonna.
It was for the funniest option. They go like, I can watch Fox News and just see what's happening, or I could go on NBC and watch the meltdowns.
People are looking for meltdowns.
Yeah. So because they had like their highest ratings, they even beat CNN.
I mean, that's like, if you say football's ratings are not good because of this and that, and then you're like, well, the Super Bowl, I don't want to hear about the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
ratings,
but I'm saying, but even the explanation was you're like, yeah, their ratings were so high because people were watching them just to see their meltdowns.
Yeah,
and then
it's like when a guy has a video with 1,000 views and 1,200 shares.
Yes, exactly.
That's not people that liked it.
No. That's people sending it around me. Like, you get a load of this.
Yeah. You know what? If I'm going to combine with your shopping theory, some people were mentioning that she had $1 billion campaign and she went over budget.
Oh, because women be shopping.
Well, she was shopping on a lot of things because apparently the Call Her Daddy wasn't cheap either.
Dude, they had to build that set. I thought that was the Call Her Daddy set. They built that set from scratch in a hotel. 100K.
Dude, if we were doing like a BOYSCAST, someone was like, hey, you have to do BOYSCAST, but we want you to come over here. Also, we're going to build an entire BOYSCAST studio for like $200,000. You'd be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, you go, just come here. They go, we don't have
any time.
And you go,
don't worry, the suckers. And you go, how do you pay for this? And she goes, watch this. She sends out another text. I really need more money.
Yeah.
We need to defeat him. And she's like laughing.
No, the best too is at one point their strategy for their campaign, because they realized they were going to be running out of money and they needed more money. So then they're like, we're just going to spend a ton of money on fundraising, which was actually getting a negative ROI. So then the more that they were, it was like literally like the more that they were spending on fundraising, the more they were losing.
Do you remember how I said you probably remember this because it was only 20 minutes ago,
or
less. But I said that if the pollsters were like running a hedge fund, they probably wouldn't be beating the S&P 500 very often.
Yeah.
On the same kind of token as that, so for example, if you were running like $1 billion ad spend on a campaign, right? And this was a company, and then she goes, okay, we're going to spend $100,000 on Call Her Daddy. That's going to cost us this much to do this. This is going to cost us this much to do this. And you go, Joe Rogan podcast, you go, probably value that at like $250 as like
millions.
No, I'm saying like if you just said what you'd value those impressions at, yeah, you're probably right.
Millions.
Probably millions, right?
Yeah.
So you go, okay, so our company can get like a millions of dollars worth for free here. And she goes, no, you would, if you were a shareholder of that company, you would probably have like a antitrust lawsuit.
Yeah, if you were like a
not antitrust lawsuit,
board with like a fiduciary.
Yeah, you'd be like, this is illegal what you're doing.
Yeah, you're like not representing the best interests of the shareholder.
Yeah, you know the words to say what I'm saying, but you'd probably be like, the board would have to intervene and be like, hey, what you're doing here is like illegal.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it turns out they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. They were just a bunch of chickens running around with their heads cut off. But again, everybody keeps going back to the Rogan thing, being like, she should have done it. And I'm like, I still don't believe that. I don't think that would have been a net benefit for her. Like exposing her for 3 hours unedited. Yeah, like maybe it's just would have done nothing. But I'm like, I don't think people would come away from that being like, you know what? She's just a real ass.
Well, you're basically saying that if you have a turd, you can't polish it one way or another. But
correct.
So that's true. But I will say, and I'll get into, maybe we'll go through what are your takeaways and my takeaways in general.
Yeah.
But probably the most interesting thing was the extent to which, like, even in our industry, like everyone's yelling at podcasters and being like, yo, you guys are palling around with fascists and all this stuff. And it was like, the obvious thing is that, they're like, yeah, they don't think they're fascists.
Yeah, they don't think they're fascists. They're the current political candidates. I don't know.
Yeah. But you know what else? It kind of just made me think about podcasting in general, now that it is sort of taking over as the predominant source and all this sort of stuff. We were obviously early podcasters, but
we are the new MSNBC.
It's always been in the chopping block since the start, right? Because it's always been nipping at the buds, and everyone's, they've tried everything to be like these fucking podcasters. They've tried to be like, they've had campaigns where women, like, they say, oh, we wouldn't want to be with a podcast. They tried. None of it's really worked.
Dirty word.
They tried to
P word.
They tried to.
If you will.
They tried to make it a dirty word. And one of the reasons I was kind of thinking was why it's so true, though, because in 14 to 17, when podcasting first came out, and it got more and more that, it was sort of like the first time a lot of women heard what guys actually talk.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of like, oh, dudes, we'll just talk how we normally talk when there's no women around. And then I think a lot of women were hearing that for the first time, being like, what the fuck? You know what I mean?
What did they say? They've just been talking about hunting for the last hour?
Have you seen the meme? Well, obviously you have, where she goes, he's probably thinking about this, and the guy's in the bed being like, the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
Just, whatever. Problematic or whatever.
Yeah, then
it was kind of that where, so really, in a lot of ways, podcasting has always just been like, you go, this is like what a normal group of guys talks like. You know what I mean? Ideally, these guys are better at it and, have, spend more time and they're funnier or whatever, right?
Sure.
But they were like, in their mind, they go, oh, these are like evil guys. And you go, nah, that's every guy.
Yeah, I got bad news for you.
I got bad news for you. That's
We're
like
pretty represented. We're right in the middle of that bell curve.
Pretty normal dudes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I never find myself in like a group of friends, from my college friends, from my high school friends, from my music friends. I never really find myself in a group of guys where I'm just like where I'm just so
self-censoring yourself. You're like, oh, you know what? Maybe this
self-censoring, but I never also find my opinions to be crazy out of the margin.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think that, but if I think a lot of times women listen to like your average shit like that, and they're just like, you're normalizing this, and you're like, you're normalizing normal shit.
Yeah,
you're like, but also, you're normalizing normalness.
Yeah, but then also the alternative to that is, you flip on Call Her Daddy, and you're like, so you guys just all talk about just sucking cocks. Is that what it is? It's just
they stop. They talk about what truth is. What they do is they have a 1.5-year span where they talk about sucking cocks, and then they talk. Then they get into the like self-help stuff, and then they go two ways. So then they go through their phase where they're talking about depression and mental health, and bettering themselves, and they talk about their life like it's a movie. Like that was a toxic relationship, and I had to leave. They talk about it like as if they were describing the protagonist in a movie, even though they're talking about themselves. Where they go, and that was something where I just knew that at that moment that I had to make this decision and, leave that job at Walmart and take the job at Arby's, but whatever it was. And then after that, they kind of max out on that, and then they just gossip.
Yeah, then they just gossip, and they talk about like the time they farted while having sex, and then the other girl's like, yeah, me too. I guess we all kind of do that. And then they go like, you ever like accidentally like lost something in your pussy? And you go, yeah, me too. Yeah. You just find it there a week later, and you go, yeah, this is just a normal thing. And if you guys listen to that, you go, shit, that's what you're talking about, huh?
Yeah, but it's very man dominated.
Yeah.
That's what
it's just what it is.
It's the oldest thing in the book, dudes.
Girl podcasts are Rachel Maddow. That's a girl podcast.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's just mainstream television.
Well, my point, even why I bring this up, because a lot of shades getting thrown around and saying that these guys are the problem. When in reality, they've even figured this out. Their own people are writing these articles. How white women doomed Kamala Harris and the Democrats again. So we already know the answer.
Yeah,
you white women, it's your fault.
Always.
Exclusively.
Always.
Yeah, because. Well, they could have voted on the important things, but instead they're like, nah.
My eggs are too expensive.
My crystals are too high. Yeah, exactly, right? Taylor Swift tickets are costing me too much money.
Taylor Swift tickets are out of hand.
It's sickening to see.
Yeah.
And
honestly, if Kamala had price controls on that instead of eggs,
I was with someone at the Chicago show, female comic, that dropped 5 G's on 2 tickets, and they're like bleeds.
Yeah. My friend, his daughter in Toronto wanted to go see Taylor Swift at Rogers Center, and he's like, dude, it's literally like for her and my wife, it's $5,000.
Yuck.
For 500 levels.
People that pay $500,000, that should be they should be rounded up. Mm-hmm. And then they should be brought into a re-education camp. And they go, listen, like, you obviously can't be trusted with your own money. Do you know when Britney Spears had the conservatorship?
Yeah.
That should be like a red flag for a conservatorship. If you drop $7,000 on Taylor Swift tickets, they go, listen, someone shows up at your house. They go, we're going to assign you a guardian. Like, you're going to lose control of your finances for 1.5 years. Like, potentially we could put your dad in charge. But like, that being said.
Less than 1 week into the presidency, Ryan's already a fascist, huh? Not letting women
No, because I actually have to go back the other way, too. Because it's not just that.
Yeah.
Because I talked to another guy at the same weekend, and he dropped like $4,000 on Jake Paul Tyson tickets. So really, what's the difference? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not even really a fight.
I guess the difference is he didn't ruin the election the way that she did.
Correct.
Like, the election's not his fault. But
he's just like, I voted for Trump. That's where all my money came from.
It is hard to look at women and say, you idiots paid $6,000 on tickets where someone also paid $6,000 to watch Jake Paul.
Sure, that's
fight Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say. And then theirs is also even worse because he's traveling to wherever it is. They're buying hotels, so his trip might actually more be expensive. So I don't know if I can exactly point the finger.
Fair enough. But this is like a one-off thing, man. Taylor Swift does a tour. Like, she's doing 5 shows in Toronto, and every show's like this.
Yeah, I know.
And she's like on tour everywhere, and every show's like this.
It really is something else. Oasis is getting up there too, but no one's in the ballpark of the Swift mania.
Yeah, you're paying $2,000 to see Oasis?
Right. So a recent poll showed that the majority of white women and their white male counterparts saw inflation as the economy and the economy as their top issue. So these people, I don't know. If they can't help themselves, it's hard to help them. You know what I mean?
Hey.
Listen, this is a message to white women. Stop getting Trump elected.
Yeah, stop it. Just quit it.
Quit it. You know, and it's one of those things where the guys are held less accountable because guys are, they always kind of do this. You know, it was on your shoulders.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're always playing the blame game, right? They got to find someone when you don't get the result you want.
Sometimes, Daniel, when you're playing the blame game, sometimes that's when it's time to take a peek in the mirror. Just take a peek at yourself and you go, is it possible that you did this?
Yeah.
Did you vote Trump? And you go, actually, now that you mention it, I did.
You know what? Now that I think about it, yes, I did.
Fuck, now that I think about it, I think I did vote Trump.
But I was voting on the border. I was just worried about these damn illegals.
Black men have been in the scope.
Everybody. I mean, even the Puerto Ricans.
Barack Obama delivered an entire speech, as you remember, blaming black men for the reluctance. So he says, they're saying the white women are racist. They're saying the black men are sexist.
Yeah, the black women are the only ones who won here. I think there was only 7% black women voted for Trump.
Yeah, black women don't fuck with Trump. 7%. The black women don't fuck with Trump.
Nah, they don't like him. Nah.
Latinos, Arabs, and Native Americans all went for Trump.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people did.
Native Americans are apparently the number one group.
Dude, I had on the fucking...
Why is that?
I don't know. I think because Trump did some whole speech where he was kind of like, this is your land, and I don't know. He just...
I am a Nazi.
I am not a Nazi.
Is it something to do with land?
Dude, the Hispanics voted for Trump. I had a guy call into the bathhouse last night, and he's like, because I was asking him, I'm like, do you have he's Mexican from California. I go, do you have family members who are illegals? And he's like, yeah, I do. I have this. And I'm like, do any of them care about this? He's like, that Trump got elected? He's like, not at all. Not even the least bit. He goes, my cousin has been deported 3 times. Okay, every single time he gets deported, he's like, he just comes back, just sneaks back over the border. Every single time, he's like, they can't seal up the border. And then he goes, I know illegal aliens who went and illegally voted for Trump.
The fuck?
Yeah. He's like, literally, like, I know personally, like, illegals who voted for Trump because they're just like, we don't care about the border. Like, it's like, for us, it's such a non-issue because it's so easy to just get back over. They all have like fake social security numbers. He's like, they all just come. He's like, it's easy to just like start a business in America. You just like start an LLC. You don't have to be legal. None of this stuff. And they're like, none of them care about the deportation stuff at all.
That's interesting. I've never heard that side of it.
Dude, me neither. I was like fucking flabbergasted. I was like, wait, they're voting? Like, I always thought when they go, these illegals are voting, I go, they're not voting. Like, they're here, they're like living their life, they're just like trying to like provide for their family, but they're not voting in federal elections. He's like, yes, they are.
Sort of bold.
Yeah, super
brazen.
Bold. Dude, these 2 chicks in I think it was Arizona, these 2 ladies, I guess because, the whole thing was like, our election system's like so fucked and you can vote illegally. So then they wanted to test it. And so they went and they grabbed a bunch of paper ballots. And so you got to sign them. And like the way it works is when you vote, you sign your ballot. And when it gets scanned in, it gets compared to a signature that's like on the system. And I guess their signatures were so far off that it flagged and they both basically just got arrested. And they got like, they're both going to go to jail for 10 years probably.
10 years?
Oh yeah, it's a big time crime in this country to illegally vote in a federal
don't want to be in jail for that. That's a bad.
No, but they were kind of just like buying the slop that they're like, yeah, it's so easy to vote in the election. Although I guess these Mexicans are doing it, but the problem is they voted so many times. Like they didn't try and do one; they did like a bunch of paper ballots, and they got popped, and now they're just like both going to go to jail.
Yikes!
Yeah.
Fellas, as a man who loses stuff right and left, we're talking luggage, we're talking keys, we are talking my backpack.
If you can lose it, it's been lost.
Yes, and that ends actually about a year and a half ago, and that's why Tile, which is probably the perfect sponsorship for the BOYSCAST, is the solution to all your losing problems. You never have it happen again. You pop one on your keys, you pop one in your luggage, problem solved. Never think about this ever again. It's just a problem that you won't have anymore. This holiday is probably the most wonderful time of year, but also you're traveling and You got a lot on your brain. You don't know where you're going. You got someone yelling at you. You know, you have to go to this house. You go to that house. If you got divorced parents, it's even more crazy. Then you got your own kids. You're all over the place. Keeping track of what matters is very hard this season, and it can feel more hectic than merry. So whether you're worried about your family's safety, losing something that goes missing, just use the Tile app. And Tile is the first and only tracker to offer an SOS alert. So me personally, I've got one in everything right now. Tile allows you to just see the location of the stuff you've lost, which for me, once it was even as simple as at the airport, where I'm like, is this in the Uber? And it's like, no, I just left it at the... Yeah, and it was...
it's magic, man.
I know. I was like right at the bag thing, but in my mind, I'm like, it's left at the Uber. Whereas I probably would have spent 45 minutes. It was like problem solved right there. It's the best one on the market. The SOS feature, trendy colors, great for a gift. Anti-theft feature means no provocative notifications. You got less family holiday stress. You can easily find your family's lost or stolen stuff. Just ring the Tile when something goes missing. Track down its location on your map. Peace of mind all season long. Anti-theft, which is unlike competitors, Tile won't alert the thieves to its presence via notifications. Family friendly, you can add your Tile tracker to your Life 360 and see your family and all your family stuff in one spot. Family proof your family with Life's 360's Tile trackers. Visit Tile.com today. Use the code BOYSCAST. You're going to get 15% off. That is Tile.com with the code BOYSCAST. Fellas, it's football season. You're tailgating. Me and my friends actually just decided we're going to do a Buffalo trip. We're thinking
nice.
always
right
fun.
through you're doing the elbow drop through the table.
Doing the elbow drop through the table. But when you're out there, you're with the boys for hours on end, you're partying. Maybe hygiene's not on the top of your priority list. That's why Mando whole body deodorant should be the tailgate and the game day essentials. You're going to be stressed and sweaty when it's the third and long and it's the game on the line. This is clinically proven to have 72-hour odor control. Ooh. You're not getting, yeah, exactly. Woo! You're not getting that everywhere. It is perfect for long days at the game and the bar. You know, some of the people at the bar, you're like, they could use some Mando. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, they can.
Everyone can. We're talking 72 hours here. It stops odor before it starts. Available in 3 formats. Invisible spray, solid stick, invisible cream. Comes in 4 cologne scents. We're talking quality leather, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, Clover Woods. So my personal favorite, I'm on bourbon leather right now. Me and Johnny Glover were just talking about this before the podcast, and he's been liking it. So the whole body deodorant is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Your pits, packages, grundle, balls, belly button, butt cracks, stinky crevices, stomach folds, feet. They got you covered. It's created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Mando whole body deodorant is powerful enough for even the toughest body odor, but gentle enough to use everywhere, allowing you to put Mando on the family jewels and without worry, because Mando's aluminum free, baking soda free, cruelty free, dye free, and vegan, clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's grundle odor, and some people didn't know what that is, we're talking the downstairs. The taint, some might call it, was 5 out of 10. The odor level was 5 out of 10. With Mando, the average grundle odor was a 0 out of 10. So Mando's starter pack is perfect for new customers. Secure a last-minute stocking stuffer. Comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products to your choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes, and free shipping. Luckily, we have a discount code to help you get hooked on my favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. This is not an expensive product, ladies and gentlemen. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code that equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Woo! Use code BOYSCAST at shopmando.com. That is shopmando.com. Support the show. Tell them we sent you. Don't let BO keep you on the bench. Smell better naked with Mando. Gen Z won't save us, so Gen Z's in the scope.
Yep.
People are... At some point when you start writing articles about who's to blame and you go, every single person.
That's not our viewership.
Particularly Gen Z men, is a whole lot more right-leaning than a lot of us thought. Tufts University analysis of voter surveys found that 56% of men between the ages of 18 and 29 voted for Trump. As you've seen, there's a lot of discourse on Twitter of left-wing people saying like they need like a left-wing Joe Rogan.
Sure,
That's
which
been
you had. His name was Joe Rogan.
It was kind of, exactly, obviously, yeah. It was, and all of and everyone, and this is, you know what? I was going to say a few more things, but the one thing, this is kind of like my takeaway that I was thinking talking to people, right? Because people, feel like me and you, I guess we would call independents, probably, right?
Yeah, I just call balls and strikes.
You call balls and strikes. Mainly you call balls over to your house to suck on, and whatever it costs, don't spare any expense.
No, not in this economy. Not with Trump elected. There's no price too much.
No price too high. You just see Danny walking out with some orange on his lips. I'm an independent. Okay.
I'm an independent.
No, but there's kind of a lot of people that kind of poo-poo that, where they're just like, oh, there's no such thing or whatever. And it's like, the reason it was, okay, so this is what I was thinking. I go, if your main issues are like free speech stuff,
yeah,
you know, like Noma the Seller, he'd be kind of like this too. Your main issues are like free speech stuff, which is probably, you'd think a lot of comedians or people that speak, or, you know, just in general people. Economy, if you say economy is your big one. War, let's say you just say those three. You go, my main things are speech, economy, and war, right? Yeah. You know, having less war. I don't want them.
Which would almost be tied into the economy, because that's the war thing is essentially we're spending tons of money to finance these things. So.
Yeah, or you could have some moral thing with it. But if you say those are your three things, okay, let's just say your two. Well, if those are your top two, they're up for grabs. Like, you know what I mean? So they're not. So you go, well, that's why you're an independent, because it's up for grabs.
Yeah, I mean, there was no shortage.
But if you go, my abortion's my number one thing. Like, yes, then you're going to be on the side, because that's probably not going to change. If you say guns is my number one thing, it's going to be on that side. So, but if your issues are those, you go, yeah, they're up for grabs. So then you look at them and you go, you lost all the independent people, and you go, well, yeah, because the issues, which you can have those issues.
Absolutely. Also, Kamala Harris was never...
They don't own fucking those issues.
No, they don't own those issues. And Kamala Harris was also never promising to like bring back Roe v. Wade or anything. Like, she didn't have any sort of prescription for
try telling that to a fucking girl in New York.
I know, right? I know, but
good luck.
It wasn't the type of
Godspeed.
Like, you were basically on the abortion issue. You were only essentially voting for Kamala Harris to punish Trump. Right, for like, hey, like Roe v. Wade was, you know, repealed as a result of your Supreme Court nominations. You know, Kamala Harris is going to fix it, but we're going to vote for her just to fuck you.
So I felt like, well, you try having that conversation.
I understand that you're not going to have a rational conversation with a woman, Ryan. I get it, right? Yeah. You're preaching to the choir here, but that's, you know, I could never like find anything where you go. I always think to those people,
it's like, well, just move to a blue place. Okay, it's problem solved on that thing.
Yeah. So and I understand the whole thing where people are like, well, I don't want to move. And I get that. That does suck. But you're just like, okay, well, she wasn't going to fix that. That's all I'm saying, is she wasn't going to come in and say, hi, Roe v. Wade's back. Like, she never offered that. Like, that wasn't a promise she made.
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know.
I don't think she could.
I really never got that. That was like, the weird we have friends of ours that were kind of saying that was the whole thing, and I was like, I don't get how.
Yeah, I don't get how. She's like, all you're doing is just kind of giving a middle finger to Trump for being responsible for Roe v. Wade getting repealed, but she wasn't going to come in and undo that.
Right. I guess. I don't know. I still don't really get it. I've been explaining it. It didn't really make
researched
sense,
it, and I could never find
something to do with the judge. That was the big one that I got. That sometimes they're like, no, because if Republicans get another judge, then that's that.
But they already have they already have a majority.
This is the slop that I've been feed.
Yeah, they have a Supreme Court majority regardless, and they're all like mostly, besides a few of them, like they're.
Well, it feels like people backdating the logic on how they want to feel,
and they're there for life.
Yeah,
right. Like literally, what's her face, Ginsburg? Like she died as a Supreme Court justice, so which is, they should be mad at her.
See the Bernie Sanders video where they asked him, they go, Bernie Sanders, he's on an interview, and they go, do you think that this judge should resign? She's 70 years old, so then they can get a younger one in there, so they could have, you know, because then they won't potentially get replaced with a Republican. He goes, no. And they go, what do you think of that? He goes, I don't think that.
Yeah.
It's just funny how grumpy he is.
Yeah, he's so grumpy. Also, he's just
it was like honestly a pretty funny like old man clip.
Well, he's just tired of these fucking quote unquote journalists who are like, yeah, that's not how it works. You don't like they go till their 80s. She's 70,
and he's like fucking just 140,
and they're just trying to, you know, they go, well, Biden only has 2 months left, and you know what? There is a case to be made that if Trump has a good 4 years, you're getting 8 years of JD Vance, right? So this could be a 12-year run.
Could be
for the Republicans, right? So they're probably like, shit, if that happens and she dies during then we're super, because then you get like 40 years of Republican Supreme Court because these guys stay forever.
Well, watching all of the discourse kind of remind me a lot of a bit of the Tim Walz stuff, where I guess it kind of that someone clipped this and tagged us in it and did some views or whatever. But basically, when we were saying that I can't believe it's not masculinity,
Yeah.
it's like, it feels like masculinity. They're kind of like, how do we appeal to Gen Z people like without actually having to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can we like
Stop calling them
all
bad
of
people.
the man hating, except like, but it's man hating that's like for you,
Right. Yeah.
It all reminds me of, making raps about why kids shouldn't smoke. Smoking's bad because it's not rad. And you're just like,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? It's like, you go, it all feels a little like that. We're like, what if we...
It's the DARE program.
Well, you could, like, but if you really see, you go, what if the Democrat Party had like all the Joe Rogan? It's like if you like Joe Rogan, you're gonna love like
Eminem.
No, but it was like their Joe Rogan, like Dave, Dave slogan.
Yeah, I don't.
Can't believe it's not Rogan. He's like, what's the difference? You're like, I like hunting, but I'm a little safer with my guns.
Yeah, I mean, Tim Walz, actually, the more I think of it, him on Rogan, he at least, like, maybe he couldn't have gone on.
He could have talked shop a bit.
He could have been talking about hunting. I think I could have got an hour on hunting.
He would have been better off.
Yeah, like he could have at least like held his own, but maybe they're like, well, why is he going on and she's not? And then they was like, well, we either both go on or none of us. And
Well, I think they just have to engage with reality, though. If you go, how are 20-year-olds going to like us more? It's like,
they're not. You've been calling them bad people for the last decade. They're like, they're not. You've been vilifying like young white Gen Zs or whatever forever, and they're like, yeah, you're not.
Well, yeah, but it's like that thing where you go, it's too thirsty too. When a guy's trying to sleep with a girl, and then he's just like, what am I doing wrong? And you're like, well, you're drooling.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You're like too thirsty for it, and you hate
want
her.
it too bad.
Yeah, you want it too bad. You know what I mean? And you want it too bad, but on top of that, you go, you have to like engage with the reality of what she actually wants, and you're like, no, I want to do it my way, and you go, okay, well then good luck with that.
Yeah. Best of luck.
Best of luck. Maybe more articles saying why they're toxic. That potentially
Yeah,
could help.
exactly. More mainstream media. Just
I'll tell you. You tell me. But in my opinion, this would be a lot of people say the economy. A lot of people say that sort of stuff. I would say the biggest issue right now: transgender woman accuses Hooters of sex-based discrimination for refusing to hire her. So I think a lot of people.
no, Trump's in office. No more transgenders at Hooters.
I think this is the world that people don't want to live in, where you're at Hooters, you got some dude's fake tits in your face. I still think, this just isn't the America people want to live in.
No. I mean, if you want to talk about fascism, wait until all the transgenders get fired from Hooters. January 20th.
Well,
Trump gets inaugurated.
They didn't get hired, but they're suing based on discrimination.
Oh.
So it didn't actually go through. And Hooters played it pretty smart because Hooters had actually a really good reason. They go, Hooters pushed back against Livingston's claims, saying that she was told not to return due to her inappropriate behavior before. So she goes, when you were a man, you were a bad man. I'm sure that you're a woman, you're a good woman. And then they go, it had nothing to do, when we didn't hire you, it had nothing to do with your appearance, which is obviously really good.
Yep.
They go, we didn't love your personality. That's what they said. They go,
That's the only thing you can say.
The guy from Hooters, he goes, we value personality here, and we just didn't really love your personality. Appearance, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Yeah, but that doesn't work with any like racial group. Like, if you have like a black or Latino person who applies to Hooters and they go, no, we don't like your personality. Go,
No,
that's a lawsuit.
no.
You're not allowed to say that. So, no, we're not doing that. So, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they just kind of...
Personality? You're right, because they go, what do you mean your personality? What do you mean my personality?
That's a tough needle to thread for Hooters, too. They're like, hey, don't you kind of like get the point?
Yeah.
This place, like you're really fucking us over here.
Yes, it's for men to look at the tits of hot women,
Yeah.
such as myself.
Yeah, they go, yeah. They're like, they put a transgender woman on the cover of Playboy. And they go, how's that doing? People aren't loving that.
Well, I think that a lot of people, they don't want to live in a world where you're at Hooters with your son. You take everyone, obviously, that's the first thing you do with your son. You take your 3-year-old son to Hooters and you go, say it, son. And then he goes, hubba, hubba. And you go, good work, son.
Nice.
There's hope for you yet.
Get the kid a beer.
All right, I'm going to give you one.
Yeah, just one. Put it in the sippy cup.
Take a peek at those. Yeah. All right, say it again. Hubba, hubba. There's my boy. There's
my toxic boy.
Yeah. And then you accidentally trick your son into looking at a dude's tits. No one wants any of that.
Yeah.
So well played, Hooters.
Yeah, well played. Well, we'll see how that works out. I mean, I'm sure this is
New studies suggest warrior buried 1,000 years ago may have been non-binary. So I think that also people don't want to live in a society where they're digging up Vikings from 1,000 years ago and being like it was neither a boy or a girl.
I have a question. Was the researcher also non-binary?
Really good question.
Yeah.
I'm glad you asked.
Yeah,
I don't know.
This is one of those. What is it when you got a hammer, everything's a nail?
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you're non-binary, everyone else is non-binary.
You go, this might be non-binary.
The craziest thing is always when a girl's non-binary and then like 5 years later she's just like a normal. She like marries a dude and whatever, and turns out she was binary all along. It's always funny.
That is crazy. Wow.
Turns out after all that she was binary the whole.
Yeah.
She was binary the whole time.
How does she look in the mirror?
I made a little list when I was talking to different people and my thoughts on like what were the top 5. I'll tell you my top 5 that I saw a few people that were really fucking stressed out about when the fine people hoax thing.
Yeah.
And I'm saying like normal, like people I would describe as independents. They said when Obama came out and said it again the second time, they were just like that. Because I think there's certain people that are like, they feel that the kind of accusing people of racism stuff is not a good direction for the country.
No.
But they were like, you know, it's tearing this country apart a little bit, but they see it as specifically egregious. Like everyone kind of expects politicians to go out and be like, our economy was great. Our economy was great. Oh, we have the most jobs. We have the most jobs.
Yeah.
And they all expect you to rig the numbers and lie.
Sure.
What they don't like is when you go, this guy said racist stuff, and then you watch the video and it wasn't racist. I think that bothers people in a specific way.
It bothers people in a real way where they go, oh, I used to believe that and was telling people that. And then,
yeah, it's a personal way like that.
Well, you're making me look like an idiot.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
You're like, I used to watch the mainstream media slop and they said that.
You're making me
you're making me look like a fucking clown. Like I've been telling people, can you believe this guy said this shit? And then you're like, wait.
It feels like you're being pranked.
Yeah, and you're like, wait, we all know that he didn't say it. And then you're still saying it?
Yeah, I think that specific. I know 2 different people that were kind of really hyped up on that one specifically.
Dude, think about the news cycle on the like left-wing media in the last 2 weeks. Like they basically went all in for their lives.
It's like your buddy telling you that he's going to meet this guy and he's trying to sell him something, and then you go, "Oh, I know that guy, dude. Bring up dogs. He has like 5 dogs. It's his favorite thing." And then you go in and you're like, "Oh, I brought this book of dogs. I actually have a dog." And he goes, "Oh, interesting." He goes, "What is your dog?" He goes, "I have a dog." And you go, that's how they feel. Yeah. Because you're going to go now spread this information and then find out that you've been lied to. And now you look
people
like
have
a
just
fool.
Yeah.
They made a fool out of you.
Yeah. And I listened to the podcast. This dude, Kash Patel, you know who that guy is?
I think so.
He's having a lot of clips. He was on Sean Ryan's, but they're talking about him being the head of the CIA.
Yeah, I saw that
He's
guy.
this
Indian dude, right?
Yeah, Indian dude. He's super based or whatever. But he was basically saying, like, with all this lies shit, I can't remember who he was talking about. Someone in the government, but they're like, you only need to change 7%. And this was like 3 months ago, this podcast. He's like, you only need to change the minds of, you're never going to change the minds of everybody. Like, you're never going to get every person in America to being like, yeah, they did lie about that very fine people thing. He's like, all you got to do
The only way you can get everyone on board with something if it's like a bad thing. Like, you could probably get everyone on board with like Bill Clinton's bad after the day after Monica Lewinsky. You know what I mean?
But there's like still people who are probably like, yeah, we went in Iraq and it was totally, there were weapons of mass destruction and there was nothing wrong with that. And it was just, they hated our freedom and all that stuff, you know? But he was just like, you got to just change 7% of people's minds in this country. Like, that's it. That's what basically sways one way or another. It's just like, it's like 7%. And then like, that's basically what it ended up being. Exactly. Like, he like nailed it. It was like, you just had to get 7%.
In my personal life, when I find out, like, it's kind of, if you have a normal person in your life and they told you, they go, hey, this guy like, punched me in the face or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you talk to the guy and you talk to other people and they're like, I was there. Like, that's not what happened. Then you're like, oh, I would like never trust that guy ever again.
Of course. You ever had like
So I
something?
think a lot of people feel like that.
Like someone's like, yeah, this guy's like the fucking worst guy. Like, just, this guy is no good. And then you meet him, you go, really? This guy?
What?
Yeah, you go, this guy seems great. I don't see it. Like,
yeah.
What am I missing here? And then you go, yeah.
And I think one of those, if you said he was racist, would be one where they go, this guy's super racist. And then you found out that the whole thing was like made up out of thin air. And the guy was like, dude, legitimately, I just like didn't work with this girl because she like, punched my wife. Or you know what I mean? And you're just like, well, they said it was because you're racist. And he's like, I know they've been telling everyone that. I think that's a specific, there's like a few things that are specifically like worse.
Dude, they
like
were calling him fucking Hitler for the last 2 weeks before the election.
I think even people I think people can understand that that's hyperbolic more because they understand the hyperbole.
I mean,
behind
not
that.
43% of the country.
But I'm telling you, they've been doing that for 4 years. And in my specific point, because there's lots of different people, I'm just saying the people I'm talking about. In this specific one, I think there was people that are like, yeah, I understand the hyperbole behind being like he's Hitler, he's Nazi. They might not like it, but it didn't bother them in a specific way as like Obama, who's supposed to be like, kind of this beacon of good, maybe in their opinion. They have a lot of reverence for him, and then on top of that they go, he knows it's a lie and he's still that I think that specifically people they're
just lying. They go, it's the moment that you're proven a liar and then you go, well, what else are you, and you're lying.
So people are sick of like what they deem to be liars.
Yeah, and I mean, it's again,
if you watch the
ratings
that's not what happened.
of left-wing media is showing that exactly, where people are literally just like abandoning them in droves right now.
Interesting,
dude. CNN's not that CNN is firing everybody obvious. Except my boy Jake got a 3-year re-up, but
Tap's got fucking
got 3 more years. Yeah,
the Taps keep flowing for Jake. Dude,
he makes like a fucking athlete money. It's crazy.
Does he make athlete money?
Dude, he makes like
how much you pay for your iVideos?
$0. Absolutely nothing. But he's
not
like
paying
$7 million
money
a year.
Fucking,
he would be like one of the top players in the NHL.
Danny, you should do a reaction video to him where he was like, and I just think people should be paid for their work. And then you go, well, that's funny.
Yeah, that's rich, Jake. But they are talking about firing everybody. Dude, or Chris Wallace.
I don't think you listened to that. I said brilliant people.
Brilliant people.
Should be paid for their work.
Sucks. But yeah, dude, one of their main guys, Chris Wallace, is just like, it's been a mainstay on TV for literally like 40 years. And he's just like, I'm going to do a podcast.
Wild.
Yeah, like he was making
podcasting their best case scenario. Podcast is definitely a better scenario than doing funny faces to reaction videos.
Dude, the thing with CNN right now too is if you turn it on, the only clips that do well on CNN, like the only real shit that does well on CNN, is the Republican guy, Scott Jennings.
Really?
Just destroying everybody. Like they bring on this Republican guy and he just has all the sound bites. Like all the sound bites are him being like, you guys are out of your fucking minds. Him just owning them.
Because they're boxed into saying these positions that don't make sense.
Kind of. And then, but they're also like, we are a business and we have to make money somehow, and they're trying to figure this out. And so
the arguing panels do good though.
Agreed. The arguing panels do good.
Yeah, the arguing panels are kind of probably the future of media. Like I feel like they've tapped into something like that. That was kind of the old school. It's
honestly like too little too late for them.
It is a little too late, but I think that, you look at what Pierce Morgan does. He just has a bunch of opposite people. I know his is on the YouTube or whatever, but it's like you could see shows all going in that direction where we do the Jubilee thing. Like, hey, we have the head of the KKK and we have the head of the ADL here to argue. You know what I mean?
Dude, CNN would kill for Piers Morgan's ratings.
Exactly.
Kill for those kind of numbers.
People love a good argument.
Absolutely.
The other thing is, I think it was there's just a couple small ones where people were upset that she wouldn't do the long interviews because they're like, I don't know what she said. Trump reached a threshold in his cycle where it was like kind of acceptable to like him without enormous ramifications because it just
all the football players are doing the dance now. They're doing like this is like the new touchdown dance.
That's funny.
Like black guys and stuff. Like it's not even just like white guys. Not just like Nick Bosa. It's like
so that reached a threshold. I would say probably my top one. It was the same as the Rogan thing, but it was like the lesson is when they're talking about we need like a left wing version of that. The lesson is don't make enemies of the best ambassadors that could be on your side and impartial. You know what I mean?
Also, you forced them into this.
Well, but RFK was an enemy. Elon Musk they made an enemy. Joe Rogan, they kind of made an enemy. All these sort of people. And dude, I was listening. Like when there's like a podcast that goes through like autobiographies of like famous people.
Okay.
And it was people always talk about don't bet on Elon Musk or whatever, right?
Don't bet against him.
Yeah, don't bet against Elon Musk. And it was kind of we've mentioned that here, but it was you'd listen to the things. It's like he really has like every single time like won, and you go when you look at people like that, you'd think that the basic wisdom was be like, let's at least not make an enemy of that guy.
Yeah, let's not make an enemy of a guy. If
there's a guy that was like, kind of 7 times overcame all odds and won, and you go, this is just like a tenacious guy. You're like, let's not try to make an enemy
at this point, you're just like, you're betting against Michael Jordan, like, kind of thing. You're just like hoping that this is not.
You're kind of betting against like 9 Michael Jordans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So that was the next one. the end of the media, blah, blah, blah. And then a lot of people saying they became the smarty pants party. But I think the people saying they became the smarty pants party and not good for the working class or whatever, I think they're kind of trying to put intellectual words to, a lot of different mistakes.
Well,
altogether.
they did become the party of the elites. There's no question. Like they're
Yeah.
they're the party of like the highly educated. Like they lost the working class.
But it's sort of missing why. I think when you say that you became the like a party of elites or whatever, it's missing the why. It was like, well, because you pandered to like way too many groups and the only people who are into that. It's like, because their goal wasn't obviously to pander to the Upper West Side liberals. It was like, that's just who they got, I think, by the end.
Also, you didn't know what a difference between a woman and a man
That kind of
is.
stuff, yes.
I think that has a big factor in this whole thing was people were just so sick of that. Like, just like, that was just a common sense thing where you're just like, you're assaulting people's common sense at this point, and they're just like, I've had enough of this.
Yeah, insulting people's common sense. You don't want the dude at the Hooters. That's
Yeah,
one thing you're not looking for.
like, hey, why is this so crazy of a position to be like, no trans chicks at Hooters?
Yes. And then my last thing that was kind of my thought.
No flat chicks either.
No.
It's just normal. This is common sense. It's not discrimination.
I'm fine with the perky A cup.
Yeah, it's not discrimination.
But I think then on top of that is people a little bit stopped getting with the program, because their program before, when they had more of the power, I think the program originally was kind of like, listen, you got to get on board with all these opinions, right? And you go, what'll happen? It's like, listen, if you don't get on board, you're going to get fired from your job. And then basically they kind of lost their ability to like take people's finances away, and because they lost those things.
Yeah.
So then it kind of became like, hey, it'll help your career. You know what I mean? It's like, we can't ruin your career, but it'll help to say all these. And people sort of sit in that realm where they're just like, okay, if I say these things, I'll be more likely to get fired. If you work in tech, like if I have these right opinions, it'll just make less friction in my life. Of
course.
And a lot of people have kind of, the same way that people in high school kind of end up sort of dressing like everybody else because they don't all want to stand out.
Yeah.
So they just start doing that, right? It starts with like, okay, that, and then that stopped working, right? So they're trying to like, it'll help your career. We won't ruin your life. Then as that stuff stopped working, they're like, well, everyone will say you're a good person. You're like, it can't really help you
it's
per
morality.
se, but it'll like, you'll be a good guy for saying this. Then that sort of stopped working, where basically, people would post like, I think that, there should be transitions for young people. And they go, hey, that thing you're saying that everyone said I was a good person, I'm getting like yelled at for.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Hey, I'm playing the game here. What's going on?
Yeah, you could have told me that everyone would say I'm a good person. Everyone's like, now I'm being like yelled at. And you go, oh, I think that, we should all let legal immigrants in. And it's like, everyone's saying that like, I'm supporting trafficking now. And you're like, well, I think, and then from that.
They're all bad people though.
But what they switched from that to is, no, you're fighting for the cause.
Yeah.
And I think they're realizing no one wants to fight for the cause.
Yeah, you go, I didn't sign up to fight for a cause. I'm not a soldier.
I signed up for a promotion.
Yeah, you're like, I work at the bank. Okay, I don't want to do any of this. I will say though, probably a lot
People want to be called they're a good person. People want, financial success. What they don't want to do is be a soldier for no benefits. Even real soldiers.
Yeah.
Like the benefit is everyone says you're sick when you come back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're getting spit on for going to Vietnam. You're like, I got drafted, okay? I didn't go because I wanted to. I got drafted.
So that was my last thing. I think what they were selling wasn't working anymore,
I think a lot of
offer.
a lot of pronouns are going to be getting deleted from people's email signatures.
Silently?
Just silently, just like my boy who works at like CIBC in Toronto, like who had to just like one day put his pronouns in his email signature.
That's be a cathartic deletion.
Yeah, and I'll just be like, C and hell pronouns. Everybody knows I'm a dude.
I'd be a fucking twist of irony the next day after he deletes his pronouns. She goes, miss, can I...
Ma'am, can I get some assistance here, please? What the fuck?
He took his pronouns off his badge. Taped them up. Excuse me, ma'am. Can I? That was Clark and Michael, the early Michael Cera's web series, one of the OG web series.
Yeah, that was fire.
Where the joke was everyone kept calling him ma'am.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay, we're talking about the reaction a little bit. I will say, I've never been the biggest rubbing it in type of guy. You know what I mean?
I am.
Yeah, you're more of a rubbing it in type of guy. I forgive. I let things go.
Yeah.
I've never really hold grudges. I'm just not like that.
Not a big grudge guy.
So I'm never really a gloating type of guy.
No.
Kind of also reminds me of like, it kind of reminds me of chick shit a little bit. I know I get the funny element, like in the group chats and all that stuff. I get why it's funny.
Yeah.
But there's the other part of it where it's like, it always reminds me of like, who are the people that, you know, they like 5 years later, they're like, I'll never work with that guy because of this and that. And you're like, what happened? Or like they had the ex-boyfriend from 10 years ago and they're like, I need him to suffer. And it always kind of feels like that.
Yeah.
Like when I see someone crying, I don't think like, haha, I usually think like, oh, come on, get your life together.
Yeah, come on.
What are you doing? What are
you doing, Jimmy Kimmel? what are you doing?
Yes, I think that's what I think. I go, what are you doing? Stop it.
Yeah. I mean, it's pathetic sometimes.
This is silly. What are you doing?
He goes, I'm on so many lists, though. I went to so many Diddy parties. I'm so fucked. So fucked.
Prizepicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members, billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prizepicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long with Prizepicks. Like I said, you win now up to 100 times your money on Prizepicks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prizepicks is the best place to get real money sport action. You can join over 10 million users to sign up today. Prizepicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 10 minutes. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prizepicks offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday each Tuesday. Prizepicks discounts, select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups.
And Prizepicks is super fun. It's really easy to play. And this week we are going to the gridiron NFL, baby. Here are my picks. I got Jamar Chase for more than 79.5 receiving yards and Patrick Mahomes of the Kansas City Chiefs for more than 1.5 passing TDs. And then we got Travis Kelce, also of the Chiefs, for more than 59.5 receiving yards and Saquon Barkley, Fly Eagles Fly, for more than 79.5 rushing yards. Download the app today and use code BOYSCAST to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That is BOYSCAST to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prizepicks, run your game.
I'm sure everybody here needs a break from the crowded stores, the endless gift lists as holiday season gets underway. You're thinking about who gets what to do, where I'm going, the most annoying time of year. Restore your zen, embrace the natural power of cannabis this holiday season with VIIA. This holiday season, unwind and recharge with VIIA. Whether you are enjoying a quiet evening at home or embracing the festive cheer, VIIA's premium THC and THC-free gummies will help you find your perfect holiday balance. This holiday season, unwind and recharge with VIIA. Whether you're enjoying a quiet evening at home or embracing the festive cheer, VIIA's premium THC and THC-free gummies will help you find the perfect holiday balance. If you don't already know, VIIA is well-renowned for their award-winning THC and THC-free gummies and vapes, THCA flower, soothing tropicals, calming drops, all crafted with the highest quality hemp sourced from trusted, independently owned American farms. And the best part, VIIA legally ships to nearly all states in the U.S. in discreet packaging directly to your door with a worry-free guarantee, no medical card required. So if you're 21 plus, check out the link to VIIA's website in our description. Use the code BOYSCAST for 15% off. Unlock the power of nature with VIIA's organic and vegan hemp extracts, perfect for relaxation, rejuvenation. VIIA is the only lifestyle hemp brand. They use compounds found in hemp along with active plant extracts to create products, each with specific effect in mind. Whether you want to get better sleep, ease anxiety, enhance your mood, or just get high, they have something for you. And me and Danny got a bunch of them. So I right now, as some of you have probably already told you, I've been rocking the sleep gummies. I have them right beside my bed. Tastes
great too.
They do taste great, and they have a whole variety, so you can go to the website, you can check out which ones work for you. They also have zero THC gummies. If THC isn't for you, you can still take advantage of their CBD line with products designed for sleep, focus, energy that will keep you glowing all year round. They're the industry leader with over 500,000 customers served, made in the USA, award-winning service, experience top-notch customer service, quality ingredients sourced from the finest hemp for your peace of mind, lab tested, certified. So this holiday season, gift yourself some peace of mind. If you're 21 plus, check out the link to VIIA in our description. Use the code BOYSCAST to receive 15% off. So after you purchase, they're going to ask you where you heard about them. Please support the BOYSCAST. Use our code BOYSCAST. Tell them we sent you. This holiday season, enhance your everyday with VIIA. So the funniest parts was after Trump's win, some women are considering the 4B movement, the Japanese movement, which or Korean, I believe. We've talked about it. It's coming here. Girls are tough. So I'm not buying it.
Yeah, it's only the gross ones.
I don't think it's going to take.
It's only the gross ones. They're just kind of like, we're not having sex.
We have pandered and begged for men's safety, and done all the things we're supposed to, and they still hate us, says 36-year-old. She told CNN, if you're going to hate us, then we're going to do what we want. So these are people that were probably writing.
And by the way, this is, I looked into this quite extensively. In Korea, this is an incredibly fringe movement. Okay. This isn't like, you know, when you read these articles in the New York Times, they're like, everybody,
like MGTOW for girls.
Yeah, but they're like, every woman in Korea is doing this. They're like, no, they're not. Okay. This is super fringe. And even in their defense, the 4B movement started because there was like a fucking like a PCAM epidemic in Korea where dudes were wiring up toilets and everything, and like there was cameras.
That's why
everywhere.
I always think it's funny because girls, they always, when they go to the bathroom, they always turn the tap on so you don't know they're shitting. But it's like, I already have cameras everywhere.
We're live streaming this right now. Okay, so you're kind of fucking with our audio. Can you turn the goddamn thing off? Turn the tap off. Sounds like shit.
But it's a fringe movement.
But it's a fringe movement. But even in Korea, you're like, it started as like even a reasonable thing where they're like, yo, this is like crazy. You know, they're like, there's cameras everywhere that are just filming us nude and doing all this stuff. And it had become like kind of normalized. Like it was like a real problem. So then this was like, you know, an actual issue.
Is that really what it was? Just like if you go to Korea, it's just like guys walking around, cameras on every shoe. Just
yeah, honestly, that's the 4B movement like started. That was a big.
Guy looks like the Michelin Man, like walking around getting doing the Google Street View.
What was the camera that they did the Matrix on? Remember, like the wall of cameras. You just have like the suit of all just cameras, you know, or whatever, just walking around, just like. But you know, so anyway.
Everywhere you go, it's just guys coming out from underneath women's beds, like they're coming, like a mechanic coming out of a car.
Yeah, it's just like a creep panopticon, just everywhere, you know. And but it started for like a reasonable thing, and they had like all these domestic violence stuff. It wasn't just like, oh, we don't like the president.
Yeah,
like it wasn't that.
Well, again,
they had real grievances.
On top of that, it's like, I don't know how many times do I have to tell you, your blame is to be laid on white women.
Yep.
Latino men.
And there was also
Native Americans.
And there was only white women who were doing that.
White women. It's like, maybe, do I have to get the mirror back out? I don't want to be carrying around a mirror every second with me, but.
The Simpsons, don't make me tap the mirror.
Don't make me tap the fucking mirror.
Yeah.
She goes, you're going to stop having sex with guys? I go, hey, I got someone you should meet.
That's what it is. I guess ladies, shave your heads and hopefully they'll donate the hair to cancer patients.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's always sort of a funny one when girls are like to protest someone to get uglier.
Yeah. Okay. You're like, it's one of those things. I was like, who is this hurting?
I'll tell you who this is actually hurting, because I was thinking about that exact question.
Other than themselves.
Well, I have an answer to that, because I was thinking about this where even in the context of rubbing it in a little bit, when people are rubbing it in, it was kind of making me think, you go, who's this actually hurting? Like you said, you go, girls are doing all this stuff, I'm going to get uglier. It is hurting the boyfriends of these women.
Yeah.
Because she's getting online and she, you know, someone posts like some really, really incendiary stuff, whatever the word is.
Yeah.
And then she's obviously can't do anything. So she goes home to her husband, and if they have 2 kids, she shaves her head and she goes, I'm protest.
4B.
Yeah. So I think that he goes, you're 4B, you're 4 fucking T tons.
4B bills. Yeah, you are fucking for me. I've kind of been meaning to bring that up.
He does the whistle. RFK has to fucking show up.
It's kind of why I voted for Trump, to get the fucking you healthy again. To be honest, it's not really working.
But I think the answer to the question is, obviously it doesn't really help anyone, because you're just like, you go, if someone removes themselves from the job pool, you go, who does that hurt? It doesn't hurt the customer.
No, it doesn't hurt the customer.
If you remove yourself from the dating pool, it doesn't hurt the customer. I guess there's like a fringe amount where you go, there's less women in the dating pool, allegedly, or something like that. So I guess that
but those weren't like top prospects.
Wasn't top prospect. But
it's like a guy who plays in like winter ball retiring, and you go, we'll be fine.
But there's a guy that has been dating a girl for like 7 years. Maybe they have a kid. Maybe they're married, and the wife is like fired the fuck up right now, being like, men are the worst, and this and that, stomping around the house, in a way that
he comes home, her head's shaved.
He comes out, her head shaved. She's stomping in a way like she goes to the bathroom. And you're like, could you be quieter? It's like, you want me to take up less space? Like, the girls that are dating, guys that are dating feminist mom, that is the one, that's the real victim in this election. The guy who's dating the woman who got real fired up.
Yeah, but then there's also a lot of guys who are like, maybe would have matched up with one of these chicks and they've dodged that bullet.
So that's true. I would say the alternative of that is if you were probably dating a guy that got like real deep into like Trump and like right-wing conspiracy stuff, where you can't talk about anything without that coming up. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just be like, oh, did you see that new show? And everything has to be, you're like, I can't just have a conversation with this guy anymore without everything's politics.
True.
I would say that, this would be the version of that.
I mean, there is like the whole thing where women are like, I'm divorcing my husband now. He voted for Trump.
I think that was one of them.
I think we had one of them. I mean, there's been multiple murders related to this
one. It was okay, so if we're gonna give a list of do's and don'ts,
by the way, don't over a 4-year election result, don't go murder your dad or your whole family. That's an overreaction.
If you're deciding what to do, that's probably not the best course
just because you can't have an abortion, don't go abort your entire family.
You know what would be, honestly, it would be a little easier to maybe just pop one state over. Yeah, if you're in one of the few states that have like a 10-week like thing or whatever it is, probably just pop over next door to one of the 16
on a Greyhound, and I mean, you can take the train. From
I don't know
New
if we
York
need these guys
Florida.
on a Greyhound of history. One of the most famous guys that went on the Greyhound and then he chopped off heads in Canada.
That's a good point.
As Nathan McIntosh told me, that I said this on this podcast, but it's my favorite thing. Is Nathan McIntosh said the funniest thing he's ever heard. He goes, "Oh fuck, you remember when Buddy chopped Buddy's head off?" So that's what the guy said.
And fucking Buddy, who chopped Buddy's head off, is currently out.
Buddy who chopped Buddy's heads off, out and about, man.
He's just living his life right now.
I know.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't go kill your whole family.
Minnesota dad who's against Trump after the election. He gunned his wife down, ex-girlfriend, 2 kids in a murder-suicide.
Just because the election didn't go your way?
That's correct. This guy was pretty hyped up, though, apparently, according to his post.
Sounds like he was pretty hyped up.
He was a little more hyped up than your average. If that...
Sounds like it. Yeah.
So this guy wasn't a happy camper, but again, sometimes camping doesn't go your way.
Yeah, there's got to be some better ways to maybe some jujitsu or something. Throw on some Joe Rogan.
Now, I want to ask you a question. Rolling. Is it possible he was just hungry? And I don't have all the information, but sometimes you just need a Snickers bar.
Yeah. The blood sugars were bad. I don't know. But there was another, it actually just happened today, where this chick went and murdered her dad with an ice climbing axe.
Oh my god!
Over because I think he voted for Trump, and she was like some crazy lesbian chick.
So don't do that.
No, I mean, again, it's a mental health thing, obviously, because all these people, that is the one thread, is that
he threatened her mental health.
Yeah, he threatened her mental health, and it was already on very thin ice to begin with. It's not like she was doing great, but don't do that.
Don't do that.
No.
Women furious about Trump win start the MATGA movement, which glorifies poisoning men. They're always back to their old tricks.
Yeah. That's why we had to. You know what? If they're doing this, we're bringing back the witch trials. If you want to do this, you want to poison men. You want to go back to the 1600s, poisoning men. Fine. I hope you can float. That's all I'm gonna say. I hope you can float.
MATGA? I don't know about this. It's always back to poison with these people, eh?
Yeah.
Women online have taken to filming ghoulish murder fantasy videos in which they romanticize lacing men's beverages with deadly poison as a justifiable response. It says in the article, justifiable,
totally justifiable, yeah.
to fears about abortion rights under a second Donald Trump presidency. Now, listen, if you're going to poison a couple people, all I ask is when he doesn't make any changes on the abortion front, at least apologize for the people you poisoned.
yeah, that'd be reasonable. That's the thing too, is that's the MO of all female serial killers is poisoning.
Of course, that's their jam.
I know. So this isn't even really out of character. They're just kind of telling.
Chicks be shopping for poison.
Yeah, they're just kind of telling on themselves at this point.
Women be shopping for poison.
Yeah.
So that's a lot.
Yeah. I think we need to do something about TikTok. I don't know.
TikTok does.
Did you see that they banned that they? Yeah, I mean the CCP
Get rid of
is
the talk.
just,
I don't get any views on there either, so let's fucking get rid of that app. Nuke it.
Have you seen that on TikTok though? There's a STEM.
What does that mean?
Like the engineering, like the science, technology, engineering, math. Like, you know how like you have your For You page?
Oh.
And then there's the following page, and then there's like a STEM page where it's all just like, it's basically the China page. That's the one they have in China. They don't have a For You page. They just have like, here's how to do algebra.
Is that true?
Yeah. They don't let you just like mindlessly scroll bullshit in China.
I've heard this theory. I didn't know the extent to
it's
which
real,
it is.
but they have it now here too. I didn't even notice it until recently. I think I changed something on my TikTok, like from either from like a business page to a personal page or something for some reason, and then it's just like this STEM thing popped
I'm
up.
sure the mukbangers will figure out how to hack their way onto the STEM page.
Yeah, but there's a STEM page where it's just like a learning algorithm.
So you're scrolling and you just get fed STEM stuff.
If you go, I don't really ever go there, but if you do, it's only just like learning. It's just only educational. It's not like chicks talking about poisoning dudes. Although maybe the chicks could make it over into the STEM one by being like, this is how you make the poison. It's like a chemistry thing. Like
a chemistry thing.
One step ahead of you, boys.
All right, ladies, get your cauldrons.
But do you see that in Canada, they kicked out TikTok? They didn't ban the app, but
yeah, I saw some wacky.
they kicked out. They go. TikTok has to shut all their headquarters in Canada and leave.
Yeah, the app's allowed there, but they're not allowed to operate in Canada.
And you go, okay, well,
What is that? So what problem was that supposed to solve?
no idea. You go, so it's a problem. Like them being in Canada is a problem, but they go, yeah. They just leave.
I don't know. But what the
app's
hell was
fine.
going on there?
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about fucking true dope right now.
I mean, I will say the Canadians probably seeing Trump win. That is a little canary in the coal mine for. I mean, I even say that. I go, he wasn't going to win again. Doesn't matter. It's going to be Poilievre. But I think people are kind of like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, to your vibe that you said TikTok's a problem, here's a TikToker. She issues extreme advice to women to leave their dangerous husbands and to not have kids because Trump got elected. Start making a plan. If you voted for that man, you need to leave him. You need to leave him. I know you love him. I know you think he can change, but especially if you're married to him, you are in danger right now. You are in a lot of danger.
What's the danger?
We're not really sure what the danger is. Maybe he'll eat your poison and then you're going to go to jail.
He accidentally eats your poison. It's just like you incorrectly labeled it.
Yeah, why are you in danger for this guy? You go, he voted for Trump. He goes, you're in danger.
I don't know. I mean, chicks kind of make up.
I guess they think there's like 150 million serial killers in this country.
Or, yeah, I don't know. Because if anything, if he closed up the border, you're probably realistically a little safer.
I think they probably think he's going to go to like a Trump rally and then get like hyped up and then come home and
Just,
like in a
start
punchy
fucking,
mood, something like that. I don't really know the thing, but you know, there's going to be girls taking this advice. So that's what I'm saying. But you're right. I guess if your girl's so far off the deep end, I guess it is probably better that you guys.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't have a solid relationship. If this is what it took to just end your relationship was Trump getting elected.
Have you ever properly dated someone that was like overly political?
No.
Neither have I.
No, that's kind of a deal breaker.
I've like met people that were like, I've like whatever, like hung around or like, you know, what do you call it? Talk to.
Yeah, I talk to. Yeah.
Talk to people that were, you know, like casually dated, I guess people that were super political, but I've never actually been in any sort of real relationship with a woman that was like over the top about politics.
Yeah. Like even right now when my wife brings up politics, I'm just like, no. You're not just all of a sudden getting into politics. Like we're not doing this.
This is Danny Polishuk's house. I already listed. If you anything you want to know about politics, I wrote what we think on. I sent you a newsletter with our updated opinions of
Look,
the
you watch
Polishuk
the
household.
BOYSCAST if you want to know what our opinions are in this household. But She's just be like, yeah, can you believe that? I go, no. You're not just all of a sudden caring about politics. Like, it's one thing if I met her and she cared about politics. She'd never care about politics. And then now she'll occasionally be like, oh, this is like, what about and I go, no.
Interesting.
Not doing this.
Then you say, listen, you jingle the keys. You go.
It's not even like, she doesn't care about the abortion thing or anything. It's not
you
even
jingle
like
the
that.
keys and you say you just bought yourself 10 more minutes in the cage.
Yeah, exactly. I'd love to unchain you from this pipe right now, but you just won't shut up about politics.
If you want to check your email, I've given you the updated and modified opinions for the week that we think in this household.
I just put them on the fridge.
I'll tell you what, you keep telling her what she can and can't think. You're about to get poisoned, my friend.
No, she's not industrious like that.
Nah.
Yeah.
You haven't fucking, she might be on, once you get her give her a few more months on TikTok.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, sorry, Danny, you're an easy one to poison too because you'll eat fucking anything.
I'll like literally eat like a thing. It goes, poisson. I like fish. This is how, I mean, it's some sort of French fish we got.
A full turkey. Oh, I gotta remove this syringe. I can't eat something with a syringe on it. What's the thermometer on here? Yeah, so potentially you're about to get poisoned, my friend.
All right.
I'm telling you, the real victims are the guys dating girls that are really, really hyped right now.
Oh, that sucks. Like a normal dude who's just like lives in New York and his chick's like, I can't ever get an abortion. You're like, yeah, you can.
Like Corinne posted that. She was like, just so
Yeah.
you know, all you fucking men hate us. And I was like, we just did your show.
Yeah. Exactly. We don't hate you. Also, we can't vote. Legally can't vote. Don't hate you.
I was like, it does blow my mind how men are getting so much hate right now when it's like the fucking most great groups of women voted for this guy. It's
Yeah,
like,
it's
what
more
do
than 50% of women voted for or at least more than 50% of white women.
It's like, I just don't get how you can have that kind of cognitive dissonance where you're just like, this is all
Ryan
men.
doesn't get how women can have cognitive dissonance.
And there's like tons of women voted for her too, and you go, it's men's fault. So you go, what the fuck?
The patriarchy, Ryan. Patriarchy's back, baby.
And you go, yeah. This is gonna happen. I honestly, to people, I'm like, this is gonna happen the rest of your life. You're gonna win some, then you're gonna lose some.
I mean, I said this specifically. You're like, if you can't accept that your party loses sometimes, then you're like, you don't really like. If you expect your party to win every time, then you're not in a, you don't live in a democracy or a republic. Like,
I guess their argument was like, I understand that. I just this specific guy, Trump, really fucking grinds their gears.
yeah, well,
He grinds their gears in a way
hope
that
you like JD Vance.
I don't even know if JD Vance grinds their gears in the same way.
Yeah.
Trump specifically
They'll
grinds them.
find something about him. You know, they will.
He's
Find
gonna
something.
grind their gears too.
Yeah.
Yeah, George Bush grinded everyone's gears.
Yeah.
I guess just because of social media, the grinding is up a little higher.
Yeah, it's grind. Yeah.
Because I think people would read the paper, watch the news, but then they would go on their life. But now they're getting grinded 24/7 because they're on the subway getting grinded. They're in their
Yeah.
car getting grinded, and then they're,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They go for a walk, they bring their phone, put the headphones on, so they get a little more grinding.
yeah, listen to their fucking chick podcasts.
Yeah, the chick podcasts are telling them to
There haven't
grind.
been any protests.
None? No, that's not true.
Like, not none, but there's only been the.
They're all Palestine
Yeah, it's
adjacent.
all. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Only the pro-Palestine, but they protest anyways.
Yes, because Palestine has a lock on protesting right now because they have I think the maybe like the kind of farthest left, like,
Yeah.
they sort of own the protesting space where it's like that. So, you know what I mean?
Like if you show up, you go, I'm protesting against Trump winning, and they go, here, grab this Palestine flag, and they go, no, I just want to protest against Trump.
No.
You go, no, we're doing this now.
yeah, you're showing up with your pussy hat, and they're just like, you know, they're giving you your choose your bad sign, and you're just like, I was mad that Trump was, and now I'm holding a Hitler sign. What the fuck is he?
I'm holding a goddamn swastika. I go, what is that?
A fucking Hamas outfit. I just wanted to say I don't like Trump.
Anyways, I think it's a good sign actually for overall culturally.
Well, they have to. I think they'll get but those guys will get onto a new protest. I think the old protest organizers are mainly Palestine moaned right now.
Yeah, but I did see some, like the woman who owns the Women's March website was trying to fire up another one, and I honestly think it's like not sticking really.
I'm telling you, well, they only do one real thing at a time, and I think Palestine's really taken over the causes.
Yeah.
But I was in Chicago, and they had a huge one, and it was outside of Trump's hotel, and I was just like, you know, he's not there. Yeah, just middle fingers up.
Just doing that again.
Danny forgets we're audio sometimes.
Giving a middle finger to a building. Yeah, you tell that fucking building.
Apparently, it was a big one though, man. They're like, I talked to the cab driver, and he was like, "Oh yeah, big protest."
Yeah, well, got to protest something.
Sure, but you are right in the sense that there isn't specific ones against him, but I think they're all the protests are Palestine adjacent.
Yeah, they're all Palestine, but they would have done that regardless.
They're sort of like Trump and Palestine, but the ones before were like Trump and
Like, I don't think if Kamala Harris won, they still would have been out doing their pro-Palestine thing. Like, it was, she wasn't the savior of this thing.
No, you're right. The Palestine might have been happening regardless.
Yeah, that was happening regardless.
I don't know if it would have happened as much. The Trump...
I think so.
I think Trump gets people in
I mean, that's the thing is, like, he won, I believe he won Dearborn, Michigan, which is like the super Arab place. So the pro-Palestine people specifically, I mean, they're the one who called Joe Biden Genocide Joe. Right? Like, they didn't like the...
You know what they were protesting? Apparently,
high flag presses.
Well, they were saying they don't think all of the superheroes should be Jewish. Spider-Man, Batman, Silverman, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. Who was that? Joel West,
Simon Rockoff.
Simon Rockoff. That's an old friend of ours joke.
Yeah,
Spider-Man, Superman, Batman,
Batman. So good shit.
And then there was Danny, you've been commenting that you said the mainstream media. And
Lamestream media is how I refer to them now.
You said that you...
A little late on calling them that, but
that's your quote out of Danny's mouth. He's been posting it on his old Facebook. I didn't even know it was active. Just personal Facebook account, 300 friends, friends and family.
By the way, do you ever go on Facebook anymore?
My page, not my personal.
Dude, it's like Facebook has turned into... I like very rarely go on there. And it's now all like not promoted like sponsored content, but it's just like a algorithm or random shit. It's all just like chicks with thongs, and like it's devolved into this unrecognizable. Like, it's all just like, clickbait garbage. Like, I don't even see stuff from people I really follow anymore. It's like one thing for someone I follow, then 10 random bullshit.
If you go on your personal page,
my personal page, 10 random just like bullshit like memes from some page I don't follow, and then like another thing from something.
I don't understand how that's such... You know what the only reason why... maybe I'm
wrong. Dude, like literally like camel toe, like photos of some chick like pulling up her thong, giving her like camel. I'm like, this is what Facebook is now?
I think they just fucking dominate the like 60 plus demo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. That I agree with, but I think
Facebook just like rocks the other platforms when it comes to 60 and overs.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't even...
Arguing with their family members.
I don't use Facebook, so I have no reason for that to be like... I didn't like look at tons of stuff and made that my algorithm. I never go on there. So that's just what they're being like, this is just what it is.
People forget Facebook was kind of the most arguey platform for a while.
Yeah, now it's Twitter.
Yes, but I think it still is. Like, I remember my buddy's mom was telling me that she got in a big like fight with her friend from workout, like their cycling class, because she was saying that, she was like, posted one of my friends got too drunk and this and that, and then she goes, oh, fuck off, Deb. She posted that, and she was showing me the thing. Me and my buddy, his mom was showing us this. We were fucking dying.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, fuck off, Deb.
Yeah. But it's like, it's turned into just this it's
a weird place.
Weird place now.
Yeah, it is a weird place because you're like, what is this exactly? Yeah, but it is a huge one.
Yeah, huge. Still a billion people on there.
Yeah. So you've been talking about the lamestream. The Guardian staff offers counseling for Donald Trump's win to their staff. So the Ivy League schools offered crayons, Legos, and cookies and milk to cope with Trump's win.
Hey, nothing. Hey, I'm not going to sit here slagging off cookies and milk.
A cookie. RFK might have something to say about this, though. What kind of fucking 2% milk? No.
Raw milk, RFK.
Raw milk,
unpasteurized.
Unpasteurized, grass-fed.
Yeah.
The cookies, I want to make sure that these are organic.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things where, whatever, obviously college kids are going to be crazy or whatever. But the news, we've said this before, but it's like, if you work for the news and you were having a meltdown over the news, you probably shouldn't work for the news.
Or just make different news.
Now you're talking.
Just make news that you're not going to melt down over.
Well, you belong in public news. Like, you belong in local news. If you're having a meltdown over, like, election
news... It's the only real news, really.
You shouldn't be in news. You should be in, Martha's Bakery's doing a bonanza next Friday. Yeah. That's what you should be talking about.
Yeah, you go, there's the bridge is out.
You should be telling...
The bridge downtown is having maintenance today from 2 to 4. make plans accordingly.
You should be talking about maintenance issues with the bridge. You should be talking about the new slide that they added at the public swimming pool.
The new gazebo.
The new gazebo!
The park got a new gazebo today.
Yes, you should be talking about some of the qualms that people have, that there's, an epidemic of some people haven't been picking up their dog's feces, and we're going to need, come together as a... That's the news you should be doing if you can't handle news.
Yeah. I mean, it's the only really shit that affects people really anyways is what's happening on your local level.
You work in the news and you're having a meltdown over the news. I don't even know what to say right now.
There's not much to say.
It's not much to say, but it is really something. The only thing I will say is I think Brian Stelter was posting a lot about this, and I don't know if it's true, but he was kind of saying that, there's going to be a big... He was saying it in a crazy way, but basically saying, like, DC is going to have a brain drain because a lot of journalists are saying they don't want to work another 4 years on Trump. Like, who knows if any...
They're not going to have fucking jobs, man. It's like...
It's not going to be their choice. But you can see the point where I could see someone that was like, hey, the election was a big deal. We're going to move on back to normal stuff pretty soon, like other people in our industry.
Yeah.
We're going to be back to, culture is going to change. People aren't going to be talking about this forever. It'll be in one of the things that's in the zeitgeist. But if you are news, you're going to be talking about what the president nonstop. I can understand if you were just like a really hate that person. You're just like, it's not going to be good for me mentally to do another 4 years of this.
No, but also they've like... Dude,
you probably should actually...
They're not going to have the budgets to do the stuff they did like on the first Trump term. Like their viewership is down so much. And then if you couple that with RFK successfully removing pharmaceutical ads, which will be, 10%.
Do you think that's going to happen?
I don't know. I don't know how easy that is or hard. But if that happens and you're like, okay, well, you just lost 10% of your revenue from like a lot of these media, like any like mainstream news, just lost 10% of the money they make, and I don't know.
Well, you're kind of making it seem like they're not going to be able to do much. You're basically saying that right now with Elon Musk and Vivek, basically, it's kind of one of those situations where your little brother wants to play the game and you give him a controller that's not plugged in.
Yeah, I mean... this might be hyperbolic, and who knows? Maybe they figure out a way around this. But I think this is they're on the other side of the hill on this one, and this is just the slow. We're just going to watch this very slow decline of all these sites, or not even sites, broadcasters.
Not even gonna be that slow. Well, it'll be the old thing where it's like, how fast did it go? It was like slowly and then all at once.
Yeah, then all at once. Exactly. Yeah. But
stock market is cooking right now.
Yeah, everything Bitcoin.
I sold mine.
Yeah,
this morning.
Nice. Your Bitcoin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The wife said to buy some, which I think it might be a top signal.
Yes, I'm not gonna.
She's like, we need Bitcoin. I go,
I'm gonna.
Yeah, that's not probably good. First time you've ever said that at 90K.
Your wife woke you up.
Literally, she's like sending me just these spammy investor links of just being like
we need Bitcoin.
Yeah, she's like, we need Bitcoin. All right, this probably means it's going down.
I had one Bitcoin and I sold it this morning.
Nice.
Because I had sort of predicted this.
Yeah.
I said that I before this started, I put a little money in a few things based on my hypothesis that it was probably going to be Trump, and it was accurate, and things are up.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy though. It wasn't the biggest things, but the Bitcoin one, it felt frothy to me.
Hey, I mean,
I didn't make some crazy money.
Michael Saylor's still buying.
Well, those guys are holding forever. You know what? I was getting,
but he's dropping $2 billion at all-time highs every time.
TJ Miller he was yelling at me. I told you this because TJ Miller basically says I'm a poser because I've been swing trading it.
Oh.
And he was like, you're not supposed to do that. I'm not even really making that much money because I'm not even, but I am. I don't know. It feels like I'm kind of working.
Yeah, I mean, again, if the hardcore Bitcoin people are just like, this just give me $2 million or some shit one day.
Yeah. Well, he's hanging out with the Winglevosses and everything, and they're just like, it's a cardinal sin to ever sell it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there can't be more of it, so it is. I mean, again, they're right. They've been right so far.
Sort of, but if you're swing trading, they're not right because they went up and down like 4
Well, that's
times.
the thing. Their whole thing is it's going to be insanely volatile, but just keep holding, and it keeps just making all-time highs.
Yeah, and then keeps going back down.
Yeah, but they're like, we don't care because we don't play it. We don't play it for a 6 months or 2 years even timeline. They're like, wait 10 years or 20
Well,
years.
no, I think I'm obviously I'm getting a little fucking cocky. You're thinking I'm going to outsmart the fucking trends, but
Yeah.
I'm 2 for 2 predicting tops. It just feels so obvious with this one.
Maybe.
No, but you're right. This one could just.
I mean,
keep going up.
100K is like a big round number where it seems like that'll be hard to get over.
You're right. It seems like oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Never
Yeah.
mind. I kind of misinterpreted you. I thought you were going to say that it could stay up by there. But it just feels to me like what you said when it's like I had 3 different people being like, should I buy Bitcoin?
Yeah.
And first of all, I'm not the smartest guy with this stuff in the world. Like, I kind of know what I'm talking about a little bit, but I'm not like some fucking great investor. You maybe are, but I'm like, these are people that are like, I got to do this. Let me talk to my friend who's an expert. Me.
Yeah.
I'm the smartest guy that they know in this thing. So they don't know what they're talking about. I don't really know what I'm talking about. I'm the best they can do is ask me. And I go, well, if all that's happening, like, I feel like that's usually the sign.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my Top Shots to come back. Put a lot of money in Top Shots.
One day.
One day they'll be back.
10 realistic ways people are coping with Trump's victory. Sitting in silence to mourn. So this is HuffPost, and this is some advice they give you. So sitting in silence to mourn's a good way. I came home. I've been glued to the couch, just sitting in silence, and I'm mourning.
Yep.
I don't know if I recommend that one.
I mean, if it means sitting in silence, we're talking shit about sitting in silence right
I'm
now?
back in, folks.
Hey, lady sitting in silence?
I'm back.
Dude, this is whoever wrote this. Give him a fucking raise, dude.
I'm back in. Not forgiving the people who didn't vote. I will never forgive the people who didn't vote. I've dealt with that hurt by journaling and blocking folks. So make sort of
women are really handling this whole thing well.
So you want to
That's
make
the
like
takeaway.
Yeah, right.
Women just across the board.
They're not handling as it's a little
Handling
less
this
crazy than
well.
I thought. If I thought the craziness was going to be about like an 80, I think it was more like a 74.
Oh,
I think
man,
it was a
it's
little less
way-
crazy,
way
but it's
lower.
starting to get. It's
think it's
only
a good
probably just getting started.
I think
Maybe.
I think it's a good sign. Actually, I think it's a good sign for everything. I think it's.
Yeah, me too.
I think we kind of like went through some shit, and now we're on the other end of it.
It's a Groundhog Day situation for sure.
Yeah, but I think this will be good for like comedy and stuff.
I just can't agree. The Huffington Post. This is the advice they're giving people, where they go,
I mean, AI wrote this. Nobody works there anymore. It's just like a fucking. They press a button.
That's not true. I'll find the
No,
person.
I'm kidding.
Let's find the. Okay, Monica Torres wrote this. So
Yeah,
eat your fucking words, fat boy.
assuming that's a real person. I mean, they're never saying AI wrote this. That Huffington Post can never do that.
So first of all, you're going to want to sit in silence to mourn in your Handmaid's Tale outfit.
Yeah.
Then when you're done that, make a mental Steve Buscemi style list of people that need to pay.
Yeah, I need to pay up.
Making lists of people that you think voted the other way is
You know
probably.
what's actually interesting on Polymarket right now? Donald Trump is only a 95% chance to be president on January 20th.
What's that noise?
The pipe.
Oh, that seems like some easy money.
Yeah, it is a weird one though, right?
What do they think is going to happen?
I don't know. I don't want to know.
How much funny business did you think happened? Because your prediction was funny business.
None. There was no. Well, there was actually. If you look at Wisconsin, remember in I think it was Pennsylvania. What was the state where there's like, that image they always show where it was like they found all those votes in the middle of the night and it just like went up like that? Like
I saw that
from 2020 where it was like,
was that on a governor race?
No, it was for the state. Yeah, it was for the state or whatever to win the state, but it was the blue and then it has that huge spike. It was like the 3 a.m. I can't remember what state that was in or whatever. Wisconsin had a similar thing where there was just like in the middle of the night, there's just this like huge lineup.
So they dropped off a bag of votes?
I guess, but because they were so far ahead, it didn't cross over. It
didn't work.
But it had that same exact like that. Dude, you know they haven't even finished counting California?
Really?
Like they still have like millions of votes to count.
Why? Is they bad at writing, so they're hard to figure out? It takes a long time to decipher what they wrote?
I could not tell you why they can't fucking count their votes. Like we're now over a week past the election. They are
bad education system.
86% of the vote cast as of right now, which is like 14% is million votes they still have to count.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Silencing emotions to preserve tip-based income. So they're saying if you work at a restaurant, one of the things they're doing is just figuring out a way to silence their emotions so they're not walking up to a table and flipping it. spitting in a guy's face at your
Yeah,
job.
honestly, that I'm in favor of. Chicks, silence the emotions.
If you work at IHOP,
turn off the ringer.
If you work at IHOP, don't punch anyone in the face because you think they might have voted
Trump, just because they're wearing a MAGA hat.
If you're a server, don't explode on people is the advice there. So it's good advice. I mean, it should be without saying, but
Yeah, you see the CNN conspiracy where the guy wants Joe Biden to make Kamala Harris the president for like a month.
that'd be fun.
Someone he actually floated that, being
Sure.
give her the Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish president. Because also she's the one who has to certify the election. So because the vice president certifies
Sucks
the
for
election,
her.
so she's got to certify the election for the guy who beat her.
Crappy certification to have to do.
Yeah, it's tough. Probably calling sick that day. Not feeling it. I mean, the only funny thing is you fuck up his merch real bad.
That's what they did in Canada. Kim Campbell.
Yeah, exactly. But the only funny thing would be it would ruin all his merch because he has all the 45, 47 merch, but then it would actually be 48.
Huge move.
funny little gag to pull. I don't think Joe Biden will do it because Joe Biden fucking hates Kamala
Joe
Harris.
Biden doesn't seem like he's about to do any shit like that.
No. Dude, did you see that thing where Kamala Harris said...
What's Joe Biden do right now? What's his days? He's fucking
I
cruising
believe
around
he's
the
the
beach.
president of the United States of America.
It doesn't seem like. It
Last
seems
I
like he's
checked.
fucking cooking around. It seems like that guy's living the fucking life right now.
Well, I think he's kind of happy that she lost, right? Because that was the whole deal. Even though when he got...
you have to be a little bit happy if you're him.
Well, when he got nominated, remember the whole deal was he's a transition president, right? Like they always said he was going to be a one-term president. They go, we just need to get not Trump, and they go, so this is going to be the guy. But they always said at the time that you're like, he's not going to be a two-term president. It's going to be one term.
And he was like, I am.
He goes, yeah, I'm fit to do it. And they go, no, you're not. And I mean, it seems like he wasn't. So, but I think he's pumped because I think in his mind he's just like, yeah, well, I would have done better than you. Yeah, I wouldn't have lost this bad.
You think he would have done better?
No.
Yeah, he's getting pretty old by the end.
I don't think so. Although it looks like Trump's not going to win the popular vote, which is crazy.
Interesting.
Yeah. By the time they tally up all the votes, I think he's going to be a shade under 50%.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
The last one, they said, saving money to buy a plane ticket if needed. I'm starting a process of selling my car and things. Started to sell your car. So you already put that's crazy. Trump gets fucking voted in, so you put your car on fucking Craigslist?
What's the reason for this?
Because she needs to save money to buy a plane ticket because she's basically at any moment she's going to have to fucking flee the country.
Dude, people are so crazy. Did you see that one TikTok where this couple was like, we got our passports, we're going to move into Canada, and then they just go to Windsor, and you're like, it's not how moving to Canada works. You don't just go to Windsor.
That always drives me nuts. I honestly think that's some of the problem I've had with America. Whenever I talk to Americans and when they talk about the border thing, they're just like, I'll just go here. And it was one of the reasons I think some people are so laissez-faire with border stuff is because they're in their mind, they're like, I can just go anywhere. You're like, no, you can't.
No, you can't. Yeah.
You think you can just move to London?
Yeah. No,
and they're like, yeah, I can. And you're like, no, you can't.
No, you can't. No. They just think we're America. Of course we can.
A lot of Americans that I know think that they could just move anywhere they want willy-nilly at any point in time. So they're like, well, why can't people here if I can move anywhere? You're like, you can't. You're like, yeah, I can. And I've actually had that conversation with people where it was they were like, yeah, I can.
Yeah, of
And I had to
course.
be Google that.
You can't just move to other countries.
for a few months.
Yeah, you can go to Canada for 6 months for sure. You can't move just permanently, get a healthcare and all that stuff. It's you got to apply and go through a whole process. And
Right, but so many people are just like, oh, I'm moving out of the country. You're like, what do you do? You're like, I work at Walmart. You're like, and you think you could just move? What are you talking about?
I mean, you can move to Mexico, I guess.
I don't know. Is that true?
I think you can. I think Mexico. There are a bunch of crappier countries. No offense, Mexico, who smaller economies, I guess. Who they, you can basically just buy your way into a lot of countries. Not into a citizen.
This girl's selling her car to buy a plane ticket. She can't buy her way into a citizenship.
Yeah. She's not going to do it. But again, I don't like.
I'm not saying Amy Schumer can't move to Canada if she wants to. Of course, famous people and rich, super rich
Still
people
has to
can
go
figure
through
it
the
out.
process, though.
She still has to go through the process, but she could do it.
Yeah.
If you're just a normal person, you can just buy your way into a fucking British citizenship. You'd have to go find a job, you'd have to, and then you'd have to find someone that's going to do your paperwork.
Sponsor you and all
it's
that
not,
stuff.
it's not that easy.
Yeah, and we're also, by the way, on the second Trump presidency, where not one person.
The
left
real
country.
way for you to do it is if you were a normal person, you would go there for 6 months, meet someone, and marry them.
Marry them.
That's
Yeah,
you could
that's-
hack that, but it's that's a lot to do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
even then, after you marry for 6 months, you're going to be a couple months for the citizenship. You're going to have to come back.
Months. It's still years.
Sorry, a couple years. So then you're going to have to live in a different country of the person.
Yeah.
And then by the time you actually get your green card
And then
for London, it's like the guy's out of office.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, by the time you go, it's looking good back over there. You come back. You and fucking Bryan Cranston.
Yeah.
Yeah, so people
Also, again, that's peak Groundhog Day is moving to a different country.
and, I mean, I've yet to hear of one. I mean, no celebrities did that.
I'll tell you, I was cooking around. I did some street interviews, and I've been talking to people on the streets, chatting with people. I know there's a lot of craziness going on online. I've not seen a crazy amount of stuff in real life.
Yeah, because people just have real lives.
Yes, but in 2016, I felt like everyone talked about this. I feel like in real life, people are.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think it's a good sign.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, not a lot of craziness. I think it'll be good for everything.
Definitely less. And lastly, am I the asshole for not believing my boyfriend that suddenly became gay due to the altitude difference when he was on a work trip in Utah?
No, that is true.
Yeah, everyone knows that.
Altitude will make you gay. High altitude.
Everybody knows
Dude, if you
that.
ever go to like the top of like Mount Everest or whatever, and like sometimes you'll see like, you know how people die on there or whatever.
How do you
and
think they died? Yeah.
Yeah, like, but you'll see sometimes there'll be like 2 dead bodies doing like 2 guys 69ing, and that's how they died.
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Like
yeah.
Pompeii style, just like sucking each other off, and then they froze to death.
Well, and it's not their truth. They didn't
Yeah,
want
they're not
to.
gay. I mean, they're not gay.
Yeah, there's nothing gay about altitude gay sex.
No. It's just like sometimes the altitude kind of it lowers the oxygen and
Yeah. Do you know what altitude that is for Danny?
sea level. I get real gay at sea level. It's the fucking altitude.
Anything above sea level. Danny gets fucked up.
I get crazy. It's basically like I'm poppers.
Yo, y'all got me fucked up with this altitude. 10 below sea level.
You're on the beach right now. Yeah, man, it makes me crazy.
My boyfriend of 3 years every now and then goes to Utah for a few days because his customer service branch operates out there. I got a text from his coworker who'd become a friend of ours, and it said that my boyfriend cheated on me with some guy on the customer care team. Interesting that the coworkers fucking ratting him out for that.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah, he'd be like, this guy, hey, just so you know, your boyfriend's sucking a dick. I think the coworker's trying to
get in there, yeah.
What's the other explanation?
Fucking white knight over there.
I asked him if he was telling me he was gay or bisexual, and regardless, cheating is cheating. He insisted he was not gay. The strangest thing happened, that he was at dinner in Utah, and he suddenly became gay. I was like, what the fuck? And then he said it was due to the altitude. He said the higher altitude can have an impact on how people think, on their emotions. And he thinks that the high altitude made him gay temporarily. He said as soon as he landed back home, he was back to being straight.
Go one of those.
You spit it up. He's holding the guy's hand
Yeah.
outside the plane.
Yeah, what the hell?
Ah.
Does that work on a plane? Does he get gay on a plane?
Oh, he gets real gay on a plane.
Like,
Yeah.
is he just mile high clubbing?
He has to pick 2 movies, and he flicks back and forth between like The Princess Bride and then like a
Brokeback.
Mike Tyson documentary.
Just watching Brokeback Mountain the whole time, being like, God damn it, I hate
They
it.
need another good. Brokeback is. I feel like it was the best like reference for a gay movie, but there hasn't been another replacement of that.
Joker 2?
Would you say, yeah, I guess you could say that, but it doesn't have the same,
gay
it doesn't
stuff.
have the same, it doesn't have the same hit. Like where you go, oh, this guy was watching Brokeback.
Yeah.
Like that was there hasn't been another good one.
If it ain't Brokeback, don't
I guess
fix
Bros maybe, but it wasn't a
Oh,
big
yeah,
movie.
yeah, but Bros
has to be
bomb.
like a huge movie, yeah. He said he couldn't believe I would blame him for something that is medical and science and out of his control. He really looked bewildered and angry. I don't know.
it. Damn,
Maybe
play the science card on her.
you got to respect this guy's hustle, eh? I'm starting to wonder if I'm overreacting. I think this guy stands a chance.
Yeah, he has. You're actually kind of not sure.
She's writing this article. She's asking questions. I feel like this guy, that just goes to show you, if you pick a story and you stick with it long enough, eventually people will come around.
Let me ask Grok. Can high altitude make you gay?
I think Grok's just going to send you a meme, nah, you gay, and it's going to be fucking iced tea. I got news for you, pal. You gay.
Turns out I don't know how to spell altitude.
I think Grok's going to say, only one way to find out, meet you in the closet.
It says, I checked the scientific literature. It seems that while high altitude might make you feel lightheaded, it won't change your sexual orientation.
Grok doesn't have this guy's back.
Yeah. So there you go.
So There is a moral of the story that gaslighting works, I think is the point of this.
Keep going, boys. We invented this shit, and we're going to keep doing it.
We started this gaslight shit. And this is a motherfucking thanks we get.
Hey, Trump won again. We're gaslighting still.
Fellas, patreon.com/theboyscast. You already know what it is. Every week, a new episode. Thank you to all the new patrons. We very much appreciate it. Thank you, everyone who's been watching Danny's videos at youtube.com/@DannyJoke.
P comedy.
At Danny P Comedy. That's a bad handle.
Yep.
And Ryan Long Comedy. I just
Danny Jokes is taken by some joker.
A joker as Danny Jokes?
No, it's like some dude who does magic who hasn't used his channel in fucking 10 years.
Don't like that. No. Hate it.
No.
Don't like that. You got to have uniform handle conformity.
I can't.
People pay millions of dollars for those handles, man. This guy's waiting for his payday.
I don't think I'm going to be.
Every time you have another AI video, he's fucking counting his chickens.
Dude, the guy who has, what was it, fucking chat.com or whatever, just sold it for $20 million to ChatGPT.
Isn't that how Mark Cuban got rich? Fucking
he did some of that, yeah, but that's how Michael Saylor got rich too, actually. But this guy who bought
good way to get
chat.com, and he sold it for like $20 million to ChatGPT.
I own chad.com.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, I turned it into a gay porn site. Jokes on the chads.
Hey.
Peace, fellas.
Later.